This is Su Chen. He was a pathetic loser who got cheated on and killed. His girlfriend left him for another dude and they got freaky right in front of him as he died. Brutal. In this world, an apocalypse descended and humanity was driven into chaos, fighting over food. A single cup of noodle could make you the ruler of a city. But Su Chen is given a second chance. He is reborn 1 month before the end of the world, now with a spatial ability to store supplies. With the knowledge of the future and an inventory that can hold a city's worth of supplies, he is going to survive this living hell. The world seems normal, but a strange glow in the sky hints that disaster is near. On the streets, life goes on. A bus rushes through its daily route, its passengers oblivious to their fate. Suddenly, a passenger shouts an alarm, his panic spreading to the woman beside him as they react to news of a catastrophe. The woman grows more anxious, unnerved by the increasingly dire news reports. But Su Chen remains unfazed. He's already lived through this once, and the panic of others means nothing to him. While the other passengers discuss the unfolding disasters, our boy listens in silence, his expression cold and unreadable, because he remembers. He remembers the world that came after this day. He remembers the moment it all began, the shock and terror as ordinary people watched their world fall apart. And he remembers the monsters that crawled out, turning the world into a living hell where humanity was the prey. He especially remembers the end of his first life betrayed and left to die by those he once trusted. Back in the present, the woman on the bus, seeking a protector, clings to his arm. But the Su Chen of this life has no time for such things. He coldly pushes her away. He gets off the bus, leaving the scared and confused passengers behind. He has his own mission. He knows exactly what he needs to do to survive what's coming. His first stop is a massive supply warehouse. He's not here to buy anything. He's here to collect his supplies. This was his old workplace, where he worked as a simple delivery man. It's also where he was treated like dirt by his manager, who scolds him for being just seconds late. But our boy isn't here to work. Standing in the middle of the warehouse, he unleashes the secret power he gained upon his return. A massive spatial energy field expands from his body, a power he once used just to survive the harsh apocalyptic world. This is our boy's spatial ability. In his past life, it was a secret he guarded with his life. He used it to drain lakes for fresh water and plunder entire cities for supplies just to survive. But this time, he can use its full potential without fear, gathering resources with ease. He's so overwhelmed by his success that he can't help but shed tears of joy. A holographic screen displays his haul, tons of rice, oil, water, and convenience foods, all stored in his private dimension. With this much secured, his chances of survival have already skyrocketed. Just then, the warehouse manager and his staff finally arrive, stopping dead in their tracks, unable to believe their eyes. The massive, fully stocked warehouse is now completely empty. Su Chen is the only one left inside. The manager's shock quickly turns to fury as he screams at Su Chen, demanding to know what happened to all the inventory. But Su Chen just smirks, calmly admitting, "Oh, I took everything." Su Chen declares he's done playing games, using his power to phase through the floor and escape his pursuers. The sudden disappearance leaves one of the thugs completely baffled. His men panic, searching frantically for their target who has vanished into thin air. But Su Chen is already outside, landing gracefully in an alleyway. He smirks. It's his second ability, the power to shuttle instantly within a 3-meter space. A cool confidence settles on his face. This time, things will be different. He gives a casual stretch, the job already complete, leaving the thugs beaten and confused behind him. Just then, a public service announcement flashes on his phone, warning of intense geological activity and natural disasters. Our boy's expression hardens slightly. He knows this isn't just a routine alert, it's the beginning of the end. The warning triggers a dark memory from his past life, a memory of betrayal and pain. As if on cue, his phone rings. The name on the screen is Jiang Shao Chen. He answers, and her angry voice immediately cuts through the line, accusing him of disappearing on her. On the other end of the line, Jiang Shao Chen questions his character, all while another man lies in bed behind her. Our boy listens silently, his calm demeanor slowly cracking. Her words hit a nerve, and a cold fury builds in his eyes. Hearing her voice again brings the horrible memory rushing back with full force. The scene shifts to a flashback. A younger, weaker our boy is captured, bloodied, and at the mercy of the sadistic Wang Haoyu. While our boy lay dying on the floor, Wang Haoyu turned his attention to Jiang Shao Chen. In his final moments, he watched as Shadi simply looked on, choosing her new protector over him. That was how his first life ended, beaten, betrayed, and left for dead. Back in the present, Su Chen clenches his fist, the memory of his past life fueling a cold, hard rage. The anger is a familiar, burning sensation, but he forces his hand to relax. He is in control now. Taking a deep breath, he calms himself and hangs up the phone. He has more important things to do than listen to her voice. His expression is ice cold. It's time to put his plan into motion. His destination is a real estate agency, where Jiang Shaoqian and Wang Haoyu are already waiting. As soon as he enters, Jiang Shaoqian confronts him with a look of pure contempt, her new boyfriend standing behind her with a baseball bat. But Su Chen walks past them as if they are nothing, completely ignoring their existence. Enraged by the disrespect, Wang Haoyu steps forward, brandishing his bat and ready to teach him a lesson. Before he can even swing, Su Chen grabs him by the throat with lightning speed. He slams Wang Haoyu to the ground with overwhelming force, leaving him stunned. Jiang Shaoqian screams, lunging forward to pull Su Chen off. With a single, dismissive motion, he shoves her away. She tumbles to the ground, shocked by his cold indifference. Wang Haoyu gasps for air, completely powerless beneath our boy's grip. Our boy looks down at the man who killed him, a cruel smile playing on his lips as his eyes glow with power. He lets go, dropping Wang Haoyu to the floor like a piece of trash. Without a second glance, Su Chen turns and walks into the office, leaving Jiang Shaoqian to rush to her lover's side. She stares after him, her face a mask of shock and fury. The man she once knew is gone. From the ground, Wang Haoyu and Jiang Shaoqian can only stare in disbelief as Su Chen turns his back on them. He watches them flee, his face completely devoid of emotion. They are nothing to him now. Inside, he meets the real estate manager, who greets him with a syrupy, calculating smile. The manager believes he's dealing with a desperate young fool, an easy payday. But Su Chen is the one in control, calmly explaining his terms. He's selling his house for $700,000, and he wants the cash immediately. He reviews the contract with a cool, detached gaze. Everything is going according to plan. The deal is done. 700,000 yuan is transferred to his account. The first step is complete. With the money secured, Su Chen leaves the agency, already moving on to the next phase. His eyes land on a poster for fast loans. He knows that in the coming apocalypse, debt is meaningless. Without hesitation, he heads toward his next target. He arrives at Hanhai International, a building that houses a less than reputable loan company. Inside, he sits down confidently and asks how much he can borrow. The loan shark, a man named Wang Dahai, looks him over while our boy presents the real estate certificate for the house he just sold. He slides the document across the table, offering it up as collateral. Wang Dahai grins, smelling an easy profit. He has no idea he's being played by a man from the future. Moments later, another 600,000 yuan hits his account. Our boy has successfully scammed the scammer. Meanwhile, Jiang Shaoqian and Wang Haoyu have followed him, watching from afar as they hail a cab. Jiang Shaoqian sees our boy walking calmly down the street and can't help but wonder what he's up to. Wang Haoyu is still fuming, but her expression has changed to one of greedy curiosity. Ignoring them completely, our boy arrives at his final destination, the 5-star Green City Hotel. He strides into the hotel with a confidence that makes him stand out from the other guests. Inside the luxurious lobby, he takes a moment to look around before he is approached by the hotel staff. The restaurant manager, an elegant woman named Liu Xinrui, greets him professionally. Without wasting time, Su Chen makes an unbelievable request: a banquet for 1,000 tables. Liu Xinrui is stunned. Shoddy quickly dismisses it as a joke, laughing it off. But Su Chen is completely serious, questioning if a 5-star hotel like this can even handle such an order. Her professionalism kicking in, Liu Xinrui assures him they can meet any demand, no matter how large. Convinced he is a wealthy and eccentric client, she asks for his name, which he gives simply Su Chen. Impressed, she leads him away to finalize the arrangements for the massive banquet. Sometime later, Su Chen exits the hotel, his work here done. A subtle, satisfied smile plays on his lips. He's secured a massive supply of food for the coming apocalypse. Inside, Liu Xinrui is giddy with excitement over the huge commission, unaware that her new clients have been eavesdropping from the shadows. Jiang Shaoqian and Wang Haoyu emerge, approaching the manager with fake smiles. Jiang Shaoqian is desperate to know what just happened, her mind racing with possibilities. Liu Xinrui gives the poorly dressed couple a quick, dismissive look, but when they ask about Su Chen, their shocked expressions confirm they know him. Deciding to humor them, the manager pulls up the booking details on her phone. She informs them that Mr. Su has indeed booked a 1,000-table banquet, a feast worth millions. The confirmation hits them like a physical blow, leaving them speechless with shock and envy. Outside, Wang Haoyu can't wrap his head around it, but Jiang Xiaoqian is already lost in a fantasy, convinced Su Chen is a secret billionaire she needs to win back. When Wang Haoyu tries to get her attention, Shadi furiously slaps his hand away. He is now just an obstacle in her path to riches. In her mind, she is already a queen, living a life of unimaginable luxury by Su Chen's side, completely unaware that she is just a pawn in his game of revenge. Su Chen begins his preparations. He knows what's coming, but this time, he's not the victim. A cruel smile spreads across his face. It's time for payback. His first move is to secure funds. He applies for every loan he can find, using their own verification systems against them to gather a massive amount of cash. With millions in borrowed money that he never intends to repay, Su Chen feels a rush of excitement. Phase 1 of his plan is complete. But he quickly sits up, remembering there's no time to waste. With only a month to prepare for the apocalypse, every second counts. He gets back on his phone, likes the video, and starts ordering supplies. He isn't just preparing to survive, he's preparing to dominate the new world. The coming apocalypse will bring two extremes: a scorching heat that will boil the oceans, and a bitter cold that will freeze the world over. Survival depends on being ready for both. Su Chen makes a call to secure a massive warehouse, the first key piece of his survival fortress. Soon after, Su Chen is walking outside his apartment building when a familiar voice calls out to him. A woman named Li Na spots him from a distance, immediately recognizing him. She's with Jiang Xiaoqian, Su Chen's ex-girlfriend, the very woman who betrayed him in his past life. Su Chen watches them not giving a fridge. The two women gossip, convinced that Su Chen has become a secret rich heir and that this is their chance to get a piece of the pie. Jiang Xiaoqian quickly makes her move, grabbing his arm and trying to act intimate, but Su Chen isn't falling for it. He coldly pulls away and walks off, leaving her reaching for nothing. He has no time for her games. Jiang Xiaoqian and Li Na are left standing there, in shock. Having dealt with his past, Su Chen continues his preparations. He drives off, leaving the two stunned women behind. Later, he meets with a man named Gao Qiang, a future tyrant known as the Skull Crusher. For now, though, he's just a local underworld boss. Gao Qiang laughs, assuming he's dealing with some naive rich kid and completely underestimating the man in front of him. But Su Chen cuts the laughter short. He simply holds out his phone, telling the gangster to scan the code and take his payment. The payment of 100,000 yuan hits Gao Qiang's account, and his eyes turn to dollar signs. He's never seen a student with this kind of money, but our boy just gives a knowing smile and gets into a taxi, leaving the bewildered gangster staring after him. Gao Qiang is left speechless on the curb as the taxi pulls away. He can't figure out what just happened. Meanwhile, Jiang Xiaoqian complains to Li Na, annoyed that our boy has seemingly moved on without her. Gao Qiang is still trying to wrap his head around it. Who was that kid, and where did he get all that cash? The scene flashes to Jiang Xiaoqian and Li Na, letting out a blood-curdling scream. Li Na in particular looks horrified, realizing they've been completely played by our boy. Back with Gao Qiang, his confusion turns to suspicion. He has a feeling our boy is no ordinary person. The two women are now filled with rage and disgust, having been tricked and humiliated. With his initial preparations done, our boy settles into his new, fortified villa, ready to enjoy the final days of peace before the world descends into chaos. But there's one more person he needs to find. He walks into a high-end restaurant, searching for a key figure from his past life. He takes a seat and looks over the menu, but he's not interested in any of the normal dishes. His eyes land on a mysterious item, priced at an exorbitant 17,000 yuan. He knows this is what he came for. He orders the strange dish, much to the waitress's polite surprise. She takes his order with a smile, telling him to like the video. The dish is made from the meat of a mutated beast, an ingredient that will become common after the apocalypse, but is currently unheard of. A moment later, a woman with vibrant pink hair gracefully brings the dish to his table. This is Duanya, the culinary genius he's been looking for. She presents the meal, explaining that it was created specifically for him. Her confidence is absolute. Su Chen takes a bite and is immediately stunned. The taste is unlike anything he's ever experienced, confirming her extraordinary skill. Duanya already knows the quality of her work. In the coming world, her ability to purify and cook mutated flesh will be priceless. She is the Hell Chef, a woman who can turn monstrous horrors into divine cuisine. Su Chen has found another valuable piece for his survival plan. Duanya names the dish, her expression calm but with a hint of strain. Creating such a meal is clearly taxing. Su Chen savors the meal, his eyes closed. He is enjoying life after liking the video. He understands her value isn't just in her cooking, but in the unique power she possesses. Elsewhere, Lina and Jiang Xiaoqian sneak around Su Chen's villa, trying to peek inside and figure out what he's up to. Leaving the restaurant, Su Chen's next stop is a noisy nightclub. His expression is cold and focused. This isn't for pleasure. He enters the club, a place where the seeds of chaos are already being sown, even before the world officially ends. The place is wild, a perfect hunting ground for the kind of trouble he's looking for. But Su Chen remains an observer, detached from the chaos. He takes a drink, blending into the crowd while scanning the room, his eyes sharp and alert. His attention falls on a girl with braided hair, looking miserable as someone pours her a drink. This is Yunyun. Su Chen watches her, his gaze unwavering. Yunyun, heartbroken over a cheating boyfriend, downs the entire glass, trying to numb her pain. Shadi leans against Su Chen, trying to use her riz. Just then, Jiang Xiaoqian and Lina arrive at the same club, searching for their next rich target. They are shocked by what they see. They spot Su Chen across the room, surrounded by women, looking like he owns the place. Their jealousy and disbelief boil over. Su Chen puts his arm around Yunyun, playing the part. He's using this situation to create a cover for his real objective. He takes her by the hand and leads her away, making a conspicuous exit from the main floor. Jiang Xiaoqian and Li Na can only watch in fury as he leaves with another woman, their plans to win him back crumbling before their eyes. Su Chen leads Yunyun to a private room, his expression unreadable. She leans against him, completely intoxicated. Blushing, she asks if this is his first time, completely misreading the situation. Our boy just looks down at her, a hint of pity in his eyes. He gently flicks her on the forehead. He has no interest in her. He was just using her to avoid a confrontation with Gao Qiang's men. Yunyun cries out, startled and confused. Our boy looks on coldly, his mission here now complete. He leaves the room, closing the door on the crying girl without a second glance. To him, she was just a tool, and her purpose is now fulfilled. In a hallway, our boy walks calmly towards the chaos. His ex-fiancée, Jiang Xiaoqian, and her friend are causing a scene, trying to get into his apartment. But our boy isn't there to see them. He's busy overseeing a massive delivery operation, with trucks lining the street. The commotion draws a crowd. Jiang Xiaoqian watches with concern, wondering what her supposedly poor ex is planning. Suddenly, a team of chefs appears, unloading equipment to hit the like button and rolling out a red carpet. The spectacle leaves onlookers completely stunned. They begin setting up for an extravagant banquet, creating the perfect illusion that Su Chen has suddenly become incredibly wealthy. Believing she's hit the jackpot, Jiang Xiaoqian smirks, confident that she's about to secure a life of luxury. Su Chen plays along, acting flustered as she approaches. He tells her this is a test of her sincerity for their marriage. But beneath the act, his eyes are cold and unwavering. He's a man with a plan, and everything is falling into place. Jiang Xiaoqian's expression turns to one of shock and anger, realizing his test might not be what she expected. Her friend, Li Na, tries to convince her to play along, insisting it's just a hurdle on the way to becoming a rich man's wife. To prove her sincerity, Jiang Xiaoqian puts on a sweet smile and pretends to help move the heavy supplies. Her sweet act quickly fades as she discovers the box is far heavier than she could have ever imagined. Lina isn't having any better luck. The grueling manual labor leaves her flushed and completely exhausted. Su Chen watches their struggle, a faint, satisfied smirk on his face. His revenge is just getting started. Finally, after hours of hard labor, the last of the supplies are moved into Su Chen's warehouse. Li Na collapses onto the ground, drenched in sweat and utterly defeated by the day's work. Jiang Xiaoqian is just as exhausted, looking on in fury as she realizes they've been thoroughly used. Ignoring the women, Su Chen turns to the actual delivery drivers and hands them thick red envelopes as a bonus. The drivers erupt in cheers, shocked and overjoyed by his unexpected generosity, their shouts echoing in the now quiet warehouse. The celebration is a stark contrast to Jiang Xiaoqian, who peeks from behind a corner, trembling as she finally understands she's been completely played. Su Chen turns his back, leaving Jiang Xiaoqian trembling with humiliation. The confrontation is over. She calls out to him, her voice filled with disbelief and rage, but he doesn't even look back. He coldly informs her that he's actually millions in debt, shattering her dreams of a wealthy marriage. Her friend Li Na listens in horror, realizing their entire scheme has spectacularly backfired. With the women gone, Su Chen stands alone in his new warehouse, surrounded by the fruits of his labor. Blinded by fury, Jiang Xiaoqian refuses to accept defeat. She lunges forward, attempting to attack him in a fit of rage. But Su Chen sidesteps her clumsy attack with ease, showing no emotion. She crashes to the ground, her desperate assault ending in complete humiliation. Furious, Li Na tells her to stop making a fool of herself and that it's time to leave. Now, finally alone, Su Chen walks through the massive, silent warehouse. He personally locks the heavy doors, securing his fortress from the outside world. He stands before the towering stacks of supplies, ready to take the final step in his preparation. Reaching out, Su Chen activates his special ability, Infinite Storage. A cosmic blue energy envelops his hand as the boxes begin to vanish. From the outside, the warehouse windows pulse with an otherworldly light as tons of supplies are absorbed into his private dimension. Meanwhile, night falls over the city. At a high-end hotel, other plans are being set in motion. Jiang Xiaoqian and Li Na have already moved on, arriving with another wealthy man to meet the infamous underworld boss, Gao Qiang. Wasting no time, Jiang Xiaoqian clings to her new companion, playing the part of a shy, innocent girlfriend. The man smirks, wrapping a possessive arm around her. Jiang Xiaoqian plays along, but her eyes are already scanning the room for her next opportunity. Her scheming is cut short when she spots a familiar face across the restaurant. Our boy, calmly enjoying a steak by himself. Jiang Xiaoqian's new companion, Wang Haoyu, leaps up and angrily points at Su Chen, demanding to know how a broke loser could afford to eat here. Su Chen doesn't even flinch, continuing to eat his steak while the local boss smirks, enjoying the drama. At Wang Haoyu's request, the boss and his thugs surround our boy's table, ready to cause trouble. Wang Haoyu whispers to the boss, like and comment on the video, eager to see Su Chen get beaten up for humiliating his girlfriend. Across the room, Jiang Xiaoqian and Li Na watch with smug satisfaction, expecting Su Chen to be taught a lesson. Completely unbothered, our boy finishes his meal and calmly wipes his mouth with a napkin. The boss steps forward, blowing smoke in Su Chen's face while trying to intimidate him. The thugs join in, yelling and trying to provoke a reaction from the impossibly calm man. Just then, the restaurant manager, a woman named Duanya, steps in, trying to peacefully resolve the situation. The boss rudely dismisses her, but she stands her ground, apologizing on behalf of her customer. She turns to Su Chen, who simply looks on, his expression giving nothing away. His patience wearing thin, the boss slams his fist down on the table, ready to get violent. But the commotion is cut short by the arrival of a new group, led by a man with a far more dangerous aura. This newcomer is the true power in the room, and his cold gaze sweeps over the scene. The arrogant boss is suddenly terrified. Su Chen, however, recognizes the man's name from his past life, Gao Qiang. The thug's demeanor changes completely. He bows fearfully, addressing the newcomer as Brother Qiang. Sweating nervously, the mid-level boss realizes he's made a scene in front of his own superior. Su Chen is hit with a memory from the future, a vision of the real Gao Qiang as the terrifying Skull Crusher, alongside a red-eyed, powered-up Duanya. Back in the present, Su Chen breaks into a cold sweat. He hadn't planned on meeting these two major future players so soon. Gao Qiang notices Su Chen's sudden reaction, and a flicker of curiosity crosses his stern face. Gao Qiang notes that our boy has an interesting glare. For a moment, the two men lock eyes, two future titans unknowingly sizing each other up for the first time. Gao Qiang presents a woman with pink hair, Duanya, to his boss, Mr. Sunday. Duanya maintains a calm and steady gaze, though her expression is wary. Across from her, the portly and corrupt Sun Debiao smirks, holding up a glass of wine with a predatory look in his eyes. Her composure breaks as she stares in horror at the glass, where a strange substance dissolves into the wine. Su Chen watches from his window, like you are watching the video. He takes a calm sip of wine, completely unfazed by the chaos beginning outside. The scene shifts to a poolside, where Sun Debiao sweats and panics because bro hasn't swam in 10 years. The two men share a hearty laugh together. Back by the pool, two women shield their eyes, noticing that the sky has become unusually and unnervingly bright. In a brief flashback to a lighter moment, a young man with a bowl cut laughs playfully, much to Duanya's annoyance. Back in the present, Su Chen stares at the glowing moon, muttering that things are about to get explosive. He raises his glass, making a toast to the end of the world. As if on cue, the moon begins to rumble and pulse with an ominous red energy. Instantly, the heat outside becomes unbearable, and the group by the pool feels the searing effects. Their bodies feel like they're on fire as they scream in agony from the sudden, intense heat wave. Meanwhile, inside the hotel, a group of men are oblivious, annoyed that their card game is being interrupted by the growing panic. Desperate to escape the heat, survivors frantically try to break down a glass door to get inside. The absolute panic sends everyone into a frenzy as they scramble for safety from the scorching heat, leading to them liking the video and commenting. A man screams, discovering that even the water in a nearby fish tank is boiling, a sight that pushes the desperate crowd over the edge. In their madness, the crowd rushes towards the fallen fish tank, desperate for any water, no matter how hot. Civility is gone. The survivors begin fighting each other over the scalding water, their instincts taking over. Meanwhile, the card players look around in confusion, realizing their leader is missing in the chaos. The sheer terror of the situation is reflected in one man's bloodshot eyes as he screams. They get their answer as their friend stumbles into view, his skin covered in blisters, weakly begging for help before he collapses. The scene flashes to Sun Debiao, arrogant and smug in his suite, completely unaware of the hell breaking loose outside. Gao Qiang and Duan Ya, her expression uneasy as he first led her to his boss. We return to that moment, as she holds the glass of wine offered by Sun Debiao, her eyes filled with suspicion. Her suspicion quickly hardens into a defiant glare. She refuses to be a pawn in his game. She stares him down when suddenly the sun behind her radiates crazily. Sun Debiao and his henchman Gao Qiang look on, their faces slick with sweat as they start to lose control of the situation. But Duan Ya's defiance fades as she suddenly feels weak, realizing the drug in the wine is taking effect. In the hotel lobby, a businesswoman tries to push past security, caring more about her financial losses than the unfolding disaster. Gao Qiang speaks with another member of his crew, their expressions grim, as they try to figure out their next move. Sun Debiao furiously makes a call, trying to use his connections to find a way out. But it's no use. He stares at his phone in frustration. His money and power are worthless now. The survivors gather around their friend, Brother Hai, whose skin is now covered in painful burns. They tell him he needs a hospital, but it's clearly too late. Elsewhere, a driver in a parking garage looks on in shock as the heat begins to warp the air around him. Inside the parking garage, the driver's small van becomes an oven as the air shimmers with suffocating heat. He's on a video call with his boss, Sun Debiao, as the temperature becomes unbearable, the scorching heat beginning to cook him alive. On the street below, the intense heat causes the tires of the driver's van to explode. He stumbles out, his body already cooking, from the inside out. Still on the phone with his boss, he makes a desperate run for it, but there is nowhere to go. He collapses onto the scorching pavement, the soles of his shoes melting instantly. The last thing his boss sees on the video call is the driver's face, his skin blistering and his eyes cooked white. His flesh sizzles as an incoming call from someone named Brother Hai goes unanswered. The group watching the video call screams in horror, having just witnessed a man boil to death in real time. The phone clatters to the ground, disconnected. The call is lost forever, a silent testament to the driver's final, agonizing moments. But while the world outside burns, inside Su Chen's room, it's a different story. The air conditioner hums along, keeping the temperature at a pleasant 25 degrees. His sanctuary is a luxury suite, complete with a private pool, a drum set, and its own power supply. Having prepared for this day, Su Chen sleeps soundly, undisturbed by the apocalypse beginning outside his door. Meanwhile, the driver's body lies cooked on the scorching pavement, a testament to the new world's brutality. The city's infrastructure can't handle the strain. Across the grid, power stations begin to overload. One by one, they explode, plunging the entire city into darkness and cutting off all air conditioning. Back in the hotel, Sun Debiao stares at his phone. The line to his driver, Xiao Dao, has gone dead. Sweating and covered in a heat rash, he seethes with anger, realizing he's now trapped. With the AC out, the hotel room quickly becomes an oven. Duan Ya complains as the men begin stripping to cope with the heat. Sun Debiao's frustration boils over into menacing rage. He needs a solution, and he'll do anything to find one. As the men start stripping their clothes off, the desperation in the suffocating room reaches a breaking point. They need a way out. Now. Suddenly, Duan Ya has a flash of insight. She remembers something that might just be their key to survival. Meanwhile, Su Chen takes a leisurely dive into his private indoor pool. He enjoys the cool water, completely isolated from the searing heat outside. After his swim, he casually dries himself off, a picture of calm. He checks on his private power supply, which is fully charged and keeping his air conditioners running perfectly. He gets dressed, surrounded by massive blocks of ice he had prepared in advance. Relaxing on the couch with a glass of wine, he feels refreshed and comfortable. A smug smile plays on his lips. He's not just surviving, he's thriving. With a wave of his hand, a strange, pixelated power materializes a full-course banquet before him. Ignoring the dying world outside, he picks up his chopsticks, ready to dig into his feast. He lifts a perfect slice of meat, ready for his first bite. But just as he's about to eat, a frantic banging at his door interrupts the peace. He opens it, and a wave of suffocating heat pours in from the hallway, along with a crowd of desperate people. Their faces are covered in sweat and painful blisters, their eyes wide with desperation. Su Chen stands in the doorway, a cool and imposing figure looking down on the suffering mob. They see it instantly, the impossible sight of working air conditioners, a paradise in the middle of hell. Their desperation turns to ugly rage. They scream at Su Chen, calling him selfish and demanding he let them in. Sun Debiao pushes to the front, ready to use his authority to bully our boy into submission. But Su Chen cuts him off with a single brutal action. He raises a gun and fires, the shot silencing the entire mob. Stunned, Sun Debiao looks down at the bleeding wound in his stomach, his face a mask of pain and disbelief. Su Chen stands firm with his Glock in hand. Bro is not Toji Fushiguro. The mob is frozen in terror, their anger replaced by sheer, primal fear. Sun Debiao grits his teeth, his face a mask of pain and humiliated fury. The crowd can only stare in disbelief, unable to process the sudden, brutal violence. With a scream of agony, Sun Debiao collapses. Our boy just stand there, holding them at gunpoint. Bro points his gun, saying no chopped citizens past this point. The woman apologies, confused by what's going on. All over the hotel, the old order is breaking down. In another suite, a different crime boss seizes power, hoarding what little water is left. The mob's survival instinct turns monstrous. To appease Su Chen, they offer to sacrifice a child, with one man shouting he'll throw the boy out himself. Someone approaches from behind. Gao Chang checks on his wounded comrade, asking how he is feeling. Duanya is speechless with horror, shocked by the mob's depravity and Su Chen's violence. Hearing a child cry for fried chicken, the remaining henchmen decide to try a new tactic. The crowd's faces are still etched with terror from the gunshots. When threats fail, they switch to emotional manipulation, pushing a woman and child to the front and begging for our boy's help. The fat boy spots some friend chicken in the room. He leaps after it like a goblin finding gold. But our boy answers with a brutal kick, sending the small boy flying towards the nearest gym. The child's mother screams as her son just became ground beef. Su Chen just aura farms and Bro could not care in the slightest. Seeing his cruelty, the crowd turn into predators. But he just stands there unfazed. Sigma for real. He shoots right through them. They look behind and, yeah, it is so GG for them. He says, "No more warnings, you foolish bakas." Inside the sweltering Lucheng Hotel, the end of the world has begun. Downstairs, chaos erupts. With their leader dead, his men are losing control. The man known as Brother Hai lies lifeless, a grim reminder of how quickly this new world can kill. One of his followers screams in a mix of grief and fury, blaming one person for their loss. But his cries go unheard. Upstairs, Su Chen watches everything on a security monitor, completely unmoved. Among the desperate are Duanya and another woman, who believe they can still bargain their way to safety. Just then, a door opens. Su Chen appears, a calm smile on his face that doesn't reach his eyes. The sight of him terrifies Duanya and her companion. This isn't the savior they were hoping for. Blinded by rage, one of the thugs lunges forward, aiming to take Su Chen down. Su Chen doesn't flinch, simply raising a hand to begin his counterattack. He moves in a blur, bringing a weapon down on the charging man with brutal efficiency. Before anyone can react, he's already pivoting, taking out the other thugs with a series of precise kicks. The attacker is neutralized in an instant, leaving the two women completely stunned by the violence. His expression remains cold and detached. For him, this was just taking out the trash. Back in his room, an automated turret stands guard a clear sign of his preparation. Suddenly, a vehicle is spotted outside. A rescue team has arrived, sparking a brief moment of hope. Soldiers in full protective gear disembark, their objective clear and specific, but they're not here for everyone. They call out for one person only, Academician Liu. The message from the soldiers is brutally simple. They are only here for one high-value individual. Hearing this, some survivors burst into tears of joy, thinking they'll be saved too. But Gao Qiang's grim expression shows he knows what this really means for everyone else. A billionaire, Sun Debiao, tries to force his way onto the transport, believing his wealth can save him. But a soldier effortlessly shoves him aside. In this new world, money is worthless. Gao Qiang and his men can only watch their own power completely useless against the military. Duanya also tries to plead with a soldier, her panic growing as she's ignored, but the team has their orders. They turn their backs, leaving the crowd to their fate. One of the soldiers, a young man named Lu Xiaofeng, is clearly conflicted, but his superior orders him to stay in line. From a balcony above, our boy watches the entire scene, his rifle at the ready. He's not watching the crowd, he's watching the soldiers. Down below, a sinister smile spreads across Duanya's face. She seems to have a new plan. Moments later, Lu Xiaofeng finds himself separated from his team, cautiously entering a room. He senses something is wrong, but he doesn't know what. He fails to spot the tiny camera hidden in a potted plant, broadcasting his every move to our boy. Suddenly, a device is thrown through the doorway. Lu Xiaofeng spins around, but it's too late. It's a flashbang. A blinding light and deafening sound overwhelm him. He stumbles back, his eyes burning and his ears ringing. As he coughs from the smoke, the shadow of his attacker looms over him. His vision blurs. He can't understand where he is, only that the air is suddenly impossibly cool. When his sight returns, Su Chen is standing there, holding the soldier's own rifle and ID card. Lu Xiaofeng wakes up, stripped and tied to a chair in a freezing cold room, flanked by 2 massive blocks of ice. He can only stare in disbelief as Su Chen begins his interrogation, asking questions that no civilian should know the answers to. Su Chen calmly begins to explain the grim reality of their new world. He describes his past life, where he watched the sun turn the dead into horrifying monsters that devour the living. Lu Xiaofeng listens, the horrifying information shaking him to his core. Su Chen places a hand on his shoulder, making a proposition for them to work together. Then, he presses a gun to the back of Lu Xiaofeng's head. It's not a request, it's a demand. The soldier cries out, realizing he has no choice but to submit. With the point made, Su Chen cuts the soldier's bonds, offering a sliver of freedom. But the gun remains pointed at him. Su Chen needs to know if his new asset will be loyal. Lu Xiaofeng is completely outplayed, stunned by the knowledge and power this supposed civilian holds. To prove his superiority, Su Chen reveals his trump card, a military-grade automated turret. He smiles, enjoying the soldier's absolute shock and disbelief. Su Chen explains the turret has facial recognition, making it clear that betrayal is not an option. Lu Xiaofeng, now untied, understands. He is free, but he is also completely under our boy's control. Meanwhile, the rescue team departs, leaving the hotel and its desperate inhabitants behind. Sun Debiao watches them go, his face contorted with the rage of a man whose power has become meaningless. The humiliation of being effortlessly overpowered by a soldier is still fresh in his mind. He takes his anger out on the weak, while Gao Chang's men grow tired of the chaos. Our boy's earlier words about restoring order echo in Gao Chang's mind, mocking him. His subordinates can't take the heat anymore. They urge Gao Chang to storm our boy's room and take his supplies by force. Their desperation is the final push. Gao Chang's eyes harden as he makes his decision. Upstairs, our boy adds fuel to the fire, pouring a bucket of ice in front of his camera for all the desperate survivors to see. Down below, Gao Chang and his men suffer in the oppressive heat, the sight of the ice driving them mad. One of his men can't take it anymore, screaming in pure agony and frustration. But they all know, attacking our boy is suicide. The man is armed and ruthless. Gao Chang forces a smile. He's made a deal with the devil, and now he has to pay the price. In exchange for his loyalty, Su Chen has given him a single, precious piece of ice. He and his right-hand man savor the feeling of coolness for the first time in days. To prove his worth, Gao Chang immediately turns on the billionaire, Sun Debiao. He stomps on him, showing everyone that the old boss is nothing now. As Sun Debiao writhes on the floor, Gao Chang makes the new rules clear. Obey, and you might survive. Duanya watches the brutal power shift, her own position now more precarious than ever. Humiliated, Sun Debiao lashes out at the closest person, grabbing Duanya by the wrist. He rips her blouse in a pathetic display of his lost power. Duanya can only stare back, filled with rage and disgust. But Sun Debiao feels a dark presence behind him. He's just made a fatal mistake. Gao Chang unleashes his fury, ending the billionaire's life with a single brutal strike. He stands over the body and declares that he is now in charge of the hotel's ground floor. Gao Chang has fully embraced the brutality of this new world, becoming Su Chen's perfect enforcer. Duanya looks on, realizing her old protector is gone, replaced by a far more dangerous man. And from his balcony, Su Chen watches the bloody theater he created, a bored expression on his face. Everything is going according to plan. With Sunday Biao dead, the new hierarchy is established in blood. The other survivors can only watch in terror, understanding that the rules have changed. As his reward, Gao Qiang drinks the water Su Chen provided, a taste of salvation. He then tosses the now empty thermos to the desperate crowd below. Gao Qiang tells them about the rescue point, a 1-kilometer dash through hell. The news immediately causes fighting. He and his right-hand man look on, having already made their choice to trust Su Chen's plan over a desperate run. The rest of the survivors, wrapping themselves in damp cloths, decide to risk it all for a chance at escape. But even as they prepare to leave, the strong continue to prey on the weak. One of Gao Qiang's former thugs assaults a woman in a final act of pointless cruelty. Under the cloak of midnight, the group begins its desperate sprint through the city. They run, fueled by fear and the faintest glimmer of hope for survival. But the streets are littered with the dead, and they are not resting peacefully. Suddenly, one of the runners collapses, screaming in agony as the heat inside her intensifies. Her body begins to melt and contort as a black, tar-like substance pours from her mouth. She's changing. She begs for help, but her former companions run past, abandoning her to her horrifying fate. The true horror begins. The corpses in the street, the drought demons, rise and attack, their touch burning the living. These are not mindless zombies. They are monsters born from the unending heat, and they are hungry. From his balcony, Su Chen watches the massacre with a cold, analytical gaze. It's exactly what he predicted. Back inside the relative safety of the hotel, one of the thugs who stayed behind decides to cause his own trouble, cornering 2 terrified women. He laughs, mocking their fear, but his taunts are drowned out by the sound of the lobby doors shattering. The horrors from the street have found a way inside. A monstrous claw shatters the glass door. The horrors from the street have found their way inside. 2 drought demons, their bodies glowing with intense heat, shamble into the hotel lobby. They lunge forward, their eyes burning with mindless rage. Gao Qiang and his men freeze in terror, wondering if a single bite will turn them into those things. One of the demons grabs a thug, who screams as his skin sizzles at the monster's touch. Gao Qiang and his men are paralyzed by fear, completely outmatched by these new creatures. Just as they're about to be overrun, Su Chen appears with a sword, ordering them to get out of his way. The long-haired thug can only stare, shocked to see the man from upstairs joining the fray. Su Chen stands calmly between them and the demons, explaining that this isn't a typical zombie virus. He reveals the truth he knows from his past life. The monsters are driven by the lingering, powerful attachments they held when they were human. With the mutated Wang Dahai defeated, Su Chen calmly surveys the remaining thugs. But the creature isn't finished yet, lunging at him with pure rage. Su Chen easily dodges, using an item to create an opening. He remains perfectly composed, ready to end this once and for all. With a final, decisive movement, he brings his weapon down. A clean strike is all it takes to silence the monster. From the creature's remains, a purple crystal emerges a rare nucleus. The monster had been relentless, declaring everything for itself. But Su Chen's speed and power were on another level entirely. Meanwhile, the other survivors turn on one of their own. Driven by desperation, the thugs viciously attack each other. Their brutal infighting ends with one man's head being crushed with a water bottle. Back in his apartment, Su Chen recalls that these crystal nuclei are the key to evolution. He drops it into a glass. Without hesitation, he decides to consume it, hoping to gain more power. He drinks the mixture, triggering the start of a painful process. Immediately, his body begins to convulse as the energy tears through him. He collapses, his body undergoing a violent and agonizing transformation. Outside, the thugs celebrate their kill, their humanity completely gone. The thugs' leader, Gao Qiang, attacks a screaming woman, having fully descended into madness. Duan Ya can only watch in horror, calling out Li Na's name as the others prepare to feast. In the face of starvation, Su Chen's ex-fiancé, Zhang Xiaoqian, tries to make a deal with the thugs, demanding meat. The gang's leader, Gao Qiang, listens with a grim expression, considering his options. He presents her with a knife and their captive, Li Na, giving her a horrific choice. Zhang Xiaoqian stares in wide-eyed horror, realizing what she's being asked to do. Li Na looks back at her, pleading, as Zhang Xiaoqian makes her decision. With the knife in hand, she walks towards the helpless woman. Her eyes glow with a cold fire as she tells Li Na they were never friends. Abandoning her conscience, she strikes, sealing Li Na's fate. Even the hardened thugs are taken aback by her sudden brutality. She stands over the body and laughs, a chilling sound in the quiet room. Her smile is wide and maniacal, a sign that something inside her has broken. Gao Chang and his man can only stare, stunned by the turn of events. Meanwhile, Su Chen's transformation is complete. Power surges through his body. He stands up, his physique now enhanced and radiating with energy. His evolution finished, he checks his security monitor and sees someone at his door. It's Duan Ya, who has escaped the chaos and comes seeking refuge. Su Chen opens the door, revealing his new, intimidating form. Duan Ya is left speechless, shocked by the man standing before her. He listens as she offers her skills as a surgeon and a chef in exchange for shelter. Duan Ya steals her nerves, determined to prove she'll be a valuable asset. He allows her inside, telling her that if she can survive until tomorrow, he'll consider her useful. Su Chen smirks, enjoying his position of power, while Duan Ya is left confused. He knows he has the upper hand in this world. She needs him more than he needs her. With his newfound power, he looks at her with cold, calculating eyes. Duan Ya is taken aback by his intensity, blushing under his gaze. As a first step, he allows her to use his shower to wash off the filth from outside. Clean again, she sits before him, ready to prove her value. She offers her services as a skilled surgeon and chef. But Su Chen is one step ahead, secretly watching her through a hidden camera. A smug smile plays on his lips. He's testing her, seeing how far she'll go for survival. He then forces her to wear a revealing nurse's outfit he had stored away. She questions his demand, humiliated by the ridiculous costume. Her brief flash of anger is met with his unwavering, cold stare. His glowing eyes remind her who is in charge. Just then, the now mutated thugs arrive, using Jiang Xiaochen as bait. Their bodies are twisted, their eyes glowing red after consuming human flesh. They set their ambush, but our boy is already waiting calmly on the other side of the door. The moment the door opens, he strikes, shattering the thug's arm instantly. They can't believe his speed, their ambush completely foiled. He effortlessly blocks Jiang Xiaochen, who lunges at him as part of the trap. He grabs the first thug by the throat, who can only scream in terror. In an instant, it's over. Our boy casually holds the monster's head, unimpressed. The other thugs look on, their shock turning to rage. He dispatches another one just as easily, their numbers meaning nothing to him. Suddenly, the trauma triggers a mutation in Jiang Xiaochen. She lunges at Su Chen, now a monster herself. Without a second thought, he kicks her away, sending her flying across the room. She smashes through the window, plummeting towards the ground below. But her transformation isn't over. Claws burst from her fingertips, and she clings to the wall. Screaming in agony from the scorching heat, she manages to escape. Back inside, the remaining thugs regroup, deciding to rush him all at once. One leaps at him, foolishly underestimating the man who took them all down before. Su Chen simply draws his gun and fires, ending the thug's attack instantly. The others don't stop, continuing their desperate charge. He calmly sidesteps, firing with precision at the frenzied monsters. His movements are fluid, dodging their attacks while returning fire. He catches the leader, Gao Qiang, by the face and asks if he's finally done talking. Then, he slams his head into the floor with immense force. He blocks a knife from the last thug, his reflexes faster than their mutated bodies. He turns the thug's own weapon against him, finishing the fight. But Gao Qiang isn't finished yet. The mutated monster gets back on his feet, roaring with fury. But his last-ditch effort is useless. Su Chen stops him with one hand, completely overpowering him. His eyes glow with absolute power. The fight was over before it began. He glances back at Duan Ya, who has been watching the entire massacre in shock. With all the threats eliminated, a calm settles over the apartment. But elsewhere, a new threat awakens, fueled by hatred for Su Chen. Su Chen stands victorious, the last of the thugs lying defeated at his feet. Having escaped, Jiang Xiaochen has fully transformed into a high-level drought demon, vowing revenge. Duan Ya stares in disbelief, her mind unable to process what just happened. But Su Chen is already walking away, leaving a trail of bodies embedded in the walls behind him. She looks on with a worried expression, a sense of dread creeping in. Suddenly, Su Chen stops and turns to face her, his voice devoid of emotion. He tells her that from now on, she will be his exclusive opponent. Shadi is here for one purpose, to help him test the limits of his power. Duan Ya is confused by his words, not understanding what he means. In an instant, she transforms into a hideous monster and lunges at him. Su Chen blocks her attack effortlessly, not even flinching. The force of the impact shreds his shirt, revealing glowing red lines across his chest as he activates his power. He stands before the transformed Duan Ya, ready to begin his cruel experiment. The monster snaps its jaws, trying to tear into him, but he remains perfectly still. With a cold expression, he begins to test her regeneration, again and again. He flips her over, completely overpowering the monstrous form, then slams her into the ground with overwhelming force. Pinning her down, he systematically begins to tear her apart, counting each time she regenerates. He rips her body to shreds, pushing her healing factor to its absolute limit. Finally, after the 21st time, her regeneration fails. The test is complete. With the experiment complete, Su Chen stands over her broken form, having gathered the data he needed. He remarks that her power is quite interesting, but now she needs to recover. Her monster form's tendrils wrap around one of the last remaining thugs. She consumes him entirely, regenerating her own body in the process. Her limbs grow back instantly, stronger than before. She lets out a triumphant roar, believing she's finally proven her worth. Su Chen watches, a flicker of sweat on his brow. He hadn't expected this. Duanya, now back in human form, misreads his silence as approval. She excitedly exclaims how great her new power is, but Su Chen turns away. He grits his teeth, his amusement turning into cold fury. A wicked smile spreads across his face as his eyes glow red. The real test is about to begin. Duanya transforms and charges again, but Su Chen unleashes his true power. He effortlessly catches her attack, his grip like steel. With a single motion, he begins to pummel her into submission. She is completely helpless against his onslaught. He ends the assault by planting his foot firmly on her head, asserting his absolute dominance. Defeated, Duanya lies on the bed, her monstrous form dissipating. Our boy looks down at her, his red eyes glowing as he tells her she's not a person anymore. Shadi struggles to speak, finally understanding her place. He informs her she's now just a tool, an experimental subject for his research. He tells her he's studying her power for a single purpose. As a memory of his blood-soaked past flashes, he states his true motivation: revenge. He lifts his foot, his point made. Her power means nothing before him. His body still radiates with power as he stands before her. Duanya can only look up in fear, completely at his mercy. He tells her that as a reward for her performance, he will help her get used to her new body. The words send a shiver down her spine. He grabs her by the chin, his smile promising anything but kindness. Meanwhile, at the university rescue point, the situation is growing tense. A soldier named Lu Xiaofeng stands guard, his rifle at the ready. His captain, a tough-looking woman with silver hair named Bai Kang, spots movement in the distance. Her expression hardens. It's a horde of zombies, and they're heading straight for them. The drought demons surge through the streets, their red eyes glowing with hunger. Bai Kang's eyes widen in alarm. There are too many of them. The horde breaks into a run, stampeding toward the rescue point. Lu Xiaofeng shouts at them to get back, firing a warning shot, but the mindless creatures keep coming. Back in the room, our boy's power shifts, turning a sinister shade of purple. He begins his reward, a painful process of synchronization. He overpowers Duanya, his energy flowing into her. She cries out as her body is forced to adapt to his overwhelming power. His work finished, our boy dresses and materializes a Hummer from his spatial storage. He speeds away, leaving the chaos of the university behind him. But his journey is interrupted by another group of thugs, led by the arrogant Gao Qiang, who open fire on his vehicle. Gao Qiang screams threats, confident his weapons can stop anything. Our boy doesn't even bother to look at them. He plows straight through the blockade, sending bodies flying. Leaving Gao Qiang and his men scattered and broken on the pavement, he continues on his way. He stops near a massive underground entrance, sensing the thousands who died there. A sea of red eyes glares back from the darkness, a nest of countless drought demons. After a moment of observation, he drives off, heading for the AI Institute. He arrives at his destination and dematerializes the Hummer. Inside the Institute, he walks into the fugitives' den with unnerving calm. The thugs have chained up drought demons, using them as guard dogs. They sit around, bored and arrogant, with their captive monsters and hostages. Su Chen reaches into his bag and pulls out a single, fragrant chicken leg. The starving thugs are instantly captivated, their eyes wide with desperate hunger. He casually drops the piece of meat onto the floor. For a moment, there's a stunned silence as they all stare at the food. Then, chaos erupts as they all lunge for it, turning on each other in a savage frenzy. Loyalty and reason vanish, replaced by pure, animalistic greed. Su Chen watches the brawl with a smirk, dangling the chicken bone on a string like a puppet master. Finally realizing they've been played, the thugs turn their fury on him. He simply points his gun, his expression unchanged. Their threats are meaningless to him. Later, Su Chen walks calmly up the stairs to his hidden sanctuary. He has established his base in the university's abandoned reptile research laboratory. It's a place where he can conduct his experiments in peace. The scene flashes back to earlier, revealing how Bai Kang was captured by Gao Qiang's men. The elite soldier fought fiercely against the thugs. She launched herself into the fray, a whirlwind of kicks and strikes. Using her incredible agility, she took down several of the armed men with her bare hands. One by one, they fell to her precise and powerful attacks. But her skill wasn't enough to overcome their numbers and firearms. She was cornered, a gun pressed to her head, and ultimately taken prisoner. Back in the present, Su Chen has restrained the formidable captain. She sits tied to a chair in his lab, a prize from his conquest of the university. Even while bound, her eyes burn with defiance. Su Chen approaches her, a smug look on his face, ready to break her spirit. He shows her a live feed of her subordinate, Lu Xiaofeng, also captured. He holds all the cards. While his high-value prisoner is tied up, Su Chen casually begins cooking a steak. Bai Kang watches him, lamenting her failure to protect the civilians. But Su Chen is completely unfazed, telling her it wasn't her fault as he enjoys his meal. As the smell of the steak fills the air, a new, simpler thought enters her mind. She wants some too. He unties her and gives her a choice: work for him or starve. She now holds a rifle, not as a soldier, but as his asset. Bai Kang is stunned, unable to comprehend the situation she's now in. Su Chen presents her with a state-of-the-art sniper rifle, telling her it's time to earn her meal. Meanwhile, the gang leader Gao Qiang is enjoying his reign, surrounded by his spoils. A subordinate reports that the men who tried to stop Su Chen's Hummer have all been eliminated. Gao Qiang's face darkens, furious that someone dared to challenge his authority. Suddenly, the door to his throne room is blown open. Su Chen appears in the doorway, shrouded in a purple aura, calmly interrupting their meeting. One of the thugs angrily confronts the intruder, telling him he has a death wish. Su Chen simply lifts his hand, making a finger gun gesture. In an instant, the thug's head explodes, his headless body left standing for a moment before collapsing. The room is filled with stunned silence, then sheer terror as they realize what just happened. Su Chen smirks, his eyes glowing with power. He's just getting started. Gao Qiang's arrogance evaporates, replaced by a mask of pure, unadulterated fear. At the same time, from a rooftop overlooking the building, Bai Kang has a target in her sights. She has accepted Su Chen's offer and is now providing sniper support. Her face is a mask of concentration as she awaits the order. Through her earpiece, our boy gives the command to fire on the thug in her scope. As a soldier, her instinct is to protect, not to execute. She hesitates, shocked by the cold-blooded order, but his voice leaves no room for debate. A single shot rings out as Bai Kang follows his command. Her military discipline shatters, replaced by a raw, furious compliance as she leaps from the rooftop. She unleashes a volley of shots mid-air, fully committing to her new role as our boy's weapon. When the dust settles, our boy stands alone amidst the carnage, the bodies of Gao Qiang and his entire gang littering the floor. Our boy effortlessly stops an attack from a mutant, his eyes glowing with cold indifference. Nearby, a woman with short silver hair watches in complete shock. She confronts Su Chen, demanding to know who he is and why he's here. But Su Chen is already calculating his next move, deciding to offer them supplies as a strategic investment. Having made up his mind, he turns to leave, with Lu Xiaofeng watching cautiously behind him. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a sinister presence watches from the darkness. A muscular enforcer wearing a steel mask stands guard outside the administration block, radiating menace. Inside, a woman covered in scars is being brutally whipped, seemingly another helpless victim of this cruel new world. She collapses to the floor, appearing broken and defeated. The masked man, Steel Fang, looms over her with a thorny whip, enjoying her suffering. But then, the woman lets out a piercing scream, not of pain, but of exhilaration. Her expression twists into a sadistic grin. This was all just a game to her. It's revealed that she and Steel Fang are partners, surrounded by the bodies of the poor souls they lured into their trap. This is Sister G, a predator who gets a thrill from pretending to be prey. Back at the girls' dormitory, a commotion breaks out as someone shouts about Lu Xiaofeng's injuries. Captain Bai, the leader of the student survivors, approaches Su Chen, clutching a wound on his side. Seeing an opportunity, Su Chen calmly offers to treat the wound for him. As Su Chen unwraps the makeshift bandage, he gets a look at the deep, infected gash. Captain Bai's eyes widen in disbelief as Su Chen presents him with the cure. He can't believe his eyes. Su Chen has just handed him high-grade medicine, an absolute treasure in this ruined world. Captain Bai and Lu Xiaofeng are in disbelief. They can't believe he's giving away such precious medicine. Su Chen simply smiles, warning them that the current heat is nothing compared to the great flood that is coming. Captain Bai listens with a grim expression, understanding the weight of the information. Su Chen's eyes are cold and clear. He has a plan, and these survivors are now a part of it. Lu Xiaofeng and Captain Bai exchange a worried glance, realizing their struggle for survival is far from over. Just then, an arrogant voice cuts through the tension. A young woman in a school uniform appears. It's Fang Qing, a former classmate. She recognizes Su Chen, her face a mask of entitled disbelief. Without a word, Su Chen delivers a brutal slap across her face. Fang Qing is utterly stunned, unable to process the humiliation. The other survivors, disgusted by her attitude, demand that she be kicked out. She finally snaps, screaming in pure fury at being discarded. Su Chen and Lu Xiaofeng simply turn their backs and walk away, leaving her behind. But her troubles are just beginning, as Steel Fang appears and grabs her from behind. Having concluded his business, Su Chen bids farewell to Captain Bai's grateful team. He checks his phone, a map guiding him toward his next target. Peeking from behind a wall, Su Chen finds exactly who he was looking for. Steel Fang has Fang Qing strung up, using her as bait. She cries out for help, but Su Chen remains unmoved. Perched atop a truck, Steel Fang smugly addresses Su Chen, confident he holds all the cards. With a dramatic gesture, he signals for his trap to be revealed. The doors of a shipping container creak open, unleashing a horde of red-eyed zombies. Steel Fang stands confidently on the truck, with Fang Qing beside him, looking down on our boy as if he's already won. Watching from a distance, Lu Xiaofeng and Captain Bai are tense, unsure of what our boy will do. Lu Xiaofeng yells out, trying to stop whatever is about to happen, but it's too late. The zombies swarm the area, trapping our boy between the horde and the truck. Steel Fang taunts him, offering him the chance to play the hero and save his helpless classmate. For a moment, Fang Qing looks at our boy with a sliver of hope, while he appears to consider the offer. But Su Chen's expression reveals nothing but cold calculation. He has no intention of saving her. Fang Qing's face twists in horror as she realizes he's going to abandon her. Her fear quickly turns to pure rage, and she lets out a desperate, hate-filled scream. Su Chen watches, completely unmoved by her pathetic display. As her reality sets in, Fang Qing's eyes widen in terror. She unleashes a final, guttural scream, a mix of fury and despair. Su Chen simply smiles and gives a slight shake of his finger. The answer is no. The zombies below begin to stir, drawn to the hostage hanging just out of reach. As they swarm her, she lets out a blood-curdling scream. Steel Fang is furious, pointing an accusing finger at Su Chen for not playing along. He takes a swig from a cup, his eyes wide with manic rage at having his plan ruined. Su Chen's patience has run out. It's time to end this. He unleashes his power, his eye glowing with purple energy. In an instant, waves of force erupt from his body, tearing the zombie horde to pieces. His eye glowing with power, Su Chen descends from the air after annihilating the horde. He lands gracefully, the last remnants of his energy crackling around him. Steel Fang can only stare in stunned silence, his mind unable to process what just happened. He looks from the empty battlefield back to Su Chen, his confidence completely shattered. From their vantage point, Lu Xiaofeng and Captain Bai are left utterly speechless by the display of power. The battlefield is now quiet, with only the abandoned truck and a terrified Steel Fang remaining. Steel Fang glares, trying to reclaim some of his authority, but fear betrays his eyes. Su Chen simply scoffs, unimpressed by the pathetic display. Seeing his opponent's calm demeanor, Steel Fang's rage boils over. As if it were nothing, Su Chen stands casually amidst the carnage he just created. In a flash, he appears directly in front of the terrified thug. Before Steel Fang can even react, Su Chen's hands are gripping his head. A horrifying scream echoes as Su Chen applies pressure, his eyes burning with cold fury. Steel Fang's eyes glow red with terror in his final moments. With a sickening twist, Su Chen rips his head clean off his shoulders. Lu Xiaofeng gasps, horrified by the brutal, swift execution. Su Chen stands calmly, holding his enemy's head as proof of his absolute victory. Meanwhile, in a luxurious hotel room, a woman with long pink hair gasps, her eyes flying open. She jolts awake, startled from a dream. She murmurs to herself, wondering why the man from her dreams, Su Chen, hasn't returned yet. The memory of our boy in her dream is still vivid, a powerful figure she feels a desperate need to find. Wasting no time, she picks up a pistol from a nearby table. Her eyes are filled with a fiery resolve. She is not someone who will simply wait to be rescued. Standing in her room, she is on high alert, ready for anything. And just in time, as a ravenous monster bursts through the door, ready to attack. In a flooded hotel, Duanya is cornered by a grotesque monster. Before she can react, the creature lunges and her gun is sent flying. It grabs her from behind, its claws digging into her skin. She struggles against its hold, but the monster's grip is like iron. The creature lets out a horrifying roar, its fangs dripping. Pain shoots through her body as she's crushed in the monster's embrace. Her eyes lock onto the fallen handgun. It's her only hope. As the monster prepares for the final blow, she ignores it, focusing only on the weapon. In that moment, our boy's words echo in her mind. To survive, she must prove her worth. A sudden resolve washes over her, replacing fear with cold fury. Done running, she turns to face the creature head-on. She aims a powerful kick, shattering the monster's grip. She's stunned by her own newfound strength as the monster recoils in pain. With the tables turned, she finishes it off, standing victorious over the corpse. Elsewhere, armed agents watch the chaos of the flooded city. At the same time, our boy calmly observes the results of his own evolution. Something begins to stir inside a large, bubbling container. A small, horned snake emerges from the strange liquid. In a flash of dark energy, it grows into a massive, terrifying beast. Su Chen watches the monstrous transformation, his expression unchanged, but the beast is not yet tamed. But his creation is wild, throwing him back with immense force. The shadowy beast solidifies into a giant serpent with menacing red eyes. Su Chen is unfazed, summoning a strange digitized blade to face it. The serpent lunges from the sky, intent on devouring him. Its massive jaws open wide, ready to swallow him whole. He meets the attack, his blade clashing against the creature's fangs. He calmly explains that this beast is nothing compared to its mother, the Golden King snake he already killed. Enraged, the serpent roars, refusing to believe him. Su Chen strikes, landing a powerful blow directly on the monster's head. The beast quickly retaliates, coiling its massive body around him. It squeezes tight, attempting to crush him within its grip. Caught in its coils, Su Chen listens as the serpent boasts about its power. It then opens its jaws, moving in for the kill. From a distance, the two agents watch in horror, thinking Su Chen is done for. But the female agent grabs her partner, insisting that a man like Su Chen can't possibly die here. She watches with determination, having seen what he's capable of. And she's right. With his power flaring, Su Chen easily stops the monster's attack with a single hand. He effortlessly breaks free and climbs onto the beast's back, completely overpowering it. In a final, decisive move, he tears the creature apart from the inside. The monster's body dissolves into shadow, leaving him with his prize, its crystal core. He crushes the crystal core, absorbing its power directly into his body. The world he once knew is gone, washed away by the Great Flood. Now, deep beneath the waves, Su Chen is perfectly at home. His body has evolved, granting him protective membranes over his eyes and the ability to breathe through his skin. He no longer needs air, having fully adapted to this new, aquatic environment. His physical form has been reborn, sculpted into the ultimate underwater predator. Surfacing amidst the ruins, he takes in the sight of the drowned city. But his expression is grim. He knows the future this world was supposed to have. In his previous life, the city was divided. The north was ruled by the Golden King Snake and a female corpse king. The south was the territory of the cannibalistic Devourer clan. The east was held by the ruthless human warlord, Gao Chang. Thinking back, Su Chen knows he has already changed that future. He has personally eliminated 2 of the 4 kings before they could ever claim their thrones. All that remains is the west, the domain of the disgusting Rat King and his swarm. Back in the present, Su Chen observes the lesser monsters that now plague the waters, the so-called drought demons. The scene shifts, showing 2 agents stranded on a cell tower, desperate to escape the flood. A bald agent struggles to hold on, his younger partner slipping from his grasp. The younger man shouts for his friend to let go, knowing he is only weighing him down. But below them, a new threat emerges, as a horde of drought demons swarms towards the tower. Just then, a figure cuts through the water at impossible speed. It's Su Chen. The 2 agents cling desperately to a communication tower, surrounded by the raging flood. Suddenly, Su Chen launches himself from the water, landing on the pillar above them. His sudden arrival sends a shockwave, and his foot accidentally knocks one of the agents. The bald agent loses his grip and plummets towards the churning water below. But at the last second, his partner manages to grab his wrist. He holds on with all his might, saving his friend from the brink. The younger agent grunts with effort, his arms straining under the weight. His partner can only stare in wide-eyed shock at the close call. Su Chen simply crouches above them, watching the scene unfold. But the danger isn't over. One of the drought demons begins scaling the pillar. The horde follows, their red eyes glowing as they swarm upwards. A monster's claw latches onto the bald agent's leg, trying to drag him down. Su Chen intervenes, stomping hard on the creature's hand and forcing it to release its grip. The agent looks up, bewildered by the mysterious man who just appeared. During the struggle, the younger agent loses his balance and falls into the demon-infested water. Without a second thought, Su Chen dives in right after him. Unleashing his power, Su Chen becomes a whirlwind of destruction, tearing through the horde of monsters. He easily rescues the two men, who were left speechless by his terrifying strength. Back on the platform, the shaken agents can only stare at their savior. Su Chen turns to them with a cold gaze. He wants to know who they are, and why they were watching him. The agent spills everything, admitting they were sent by the Federal Bureau of Evolution to monitor him and assess his threat level. Su Chen's eyes flare. This confirms the government is moving far faster than he anticipated. With this new information, he sets his sights on their headquarters, the university. Meanwhile, back at the Green City Hotel, the waters are deceptively calm. Duanya looks out from a broken window, thinking of our boy and anxiously awaiting his return. But she isn't alone. In the flooded lobby below, monstrous tentacles begin to rise from the depths. In a flash, the training simulation begins, and monstrous worms lash out, binding Duanya instantly. They wrap around her body, constricting her, but her initial panic gives way to a strange excitement. The creature's spined mouths dig into her skin, sending jolts of electricity through her. Her own power is suppressed, leaving her helpless. But even restrained, she turns to face her master with a defiant look. Our boy watches calmly, explaining that these are parasitic monsters that feed on psionic energy. The scene shifts to an earlier time, where he teaches her that even an ordinary-looking apple can be a deadly monster. He warns her that, in this new world, nothing is what it seems. Back in the simulation, Duanya understands. She lets out a confident smile. She must not fight them with her own power, but with her mind. Her eyes glow with red light as she unleashes her true ability, mind control. Instantly, the parasitic worms freeze in place, now completely under her command. Though exhausted, she has successfully passed his test. Now for the final part of her training, learning to fight. She picks up a nearby axe. With newfound power, she turns on the helpless creatures. Shadi brings the axe down with full force, but it shatters against their tough hides. Furious at her failure, Shadi turns to face Su Chen with the broken handle. But Su Chen simply stands there, his overwhelming presence a reminder of the power difference between them. Realizing her place, Duanya's anger melts away, replaced by adoration. The difficult training is over, solidifying her role as Su Chen's loyal subordinate. After her training, Su Chen rewards Duanya for her progress. But she is still naive about the true nature of his power. She tries to use her mind control on him, attempting to seduce him. Thinking she can make him her puppet, she prepares to make her move. But the moment her power touches his mind, a terrifying mental force erupts from Su Chen. Duanya is thrown back, her own ability completely useless against his overwhelming psychic presence. He reminds her that no matter how strong she gets, he will always be her master. The lesson is over. It's time to put her new skills to the test in the outside world. Back in a flashback, Su Chen demonstrates how to properly dispose of the parasites. A single bullet is enough to make them explode. He teaches Duanya how to handle a firearm, preparing her for the dangers ahead. Their mission is about to begin. Su Chen's target, the Science and Technology University, now a fortress in the flooded city. They travel by luxury yacht, a stark contrast to the ruined world around them. Su Chen relaxes with a glass of wine, while Duanya pilots the boat. She asks why they're going to a place crawling with dangerous men. He simply tells her that valuable things are always guarded by dogs. As they approach the university, their yacht is spotted. Suddenly, warning shots are fired from the fortress walls. Su Chen calmly shields Duanya as the bullets bounce off their vessel, his arrival now announced. A man with a mohawk, the leader of this fortress, looks down from his post. He's unimpressed by the fancy yacht, questioning what business Su Chen has here. Su Chen explains he's here to join them, offering a gift as a sign of goodwill. Duanya presents the offering, a plate of perfectly cooked braised pork. In this starving world, the sight of real meat is more valuable than gold. The leader's bravado instantly vanishes. He screams at his underlings to let them in immediately. With the promise of food, the gates are opened. a man named Lu Tao is ordered to escort them inside. As they enter, our boy discreetly signals Duanya to use her powers. The leader suddenly finds his greed amplified, his mind filled with nightmarish hunger. Inside, the horrific living conditions of the survivors are revealed. The weak are left to starve in the filth. Their guide, Lu Tao, shows no pity as a small, starving child grabs onto his leg. He shoves her away, callously telling her to get lost. But Duanya, seeing the child's desperation, kneels down to comfort her. She pulls out a piece of bread and offers it to the little girl. The child stares in disbelief before snatching the food, a treasure in this desolate place. Duanya looks to Su Chen for approval, but he seems completely indifferent to her act of kindness. She doesn't understand his coldness, but his attention is already elsewhere. With a flick of his wrist, Su Chen uses his spatial ability. He summons a full hot pot feast out of thin air, declaring that as his woman, Duanya will never go hungry. The display of power stuns everyone. While Su Chen makes his grand statement, Duanya makes sure the little girl gets her fill. Bro's display of wealth and power doesn't go unnoticed. His gaze shifts as a new group approaches. The real rulers of this place emerge from the shadows, drawn by the commotion. Their leader, a man with a scarred eye patch, accuses them of breaking the rules by sharing food. He and his lieutenants look ready for a fight, eager to punish the outsiders. The little girl cries, sensing the danger, while Duanya holds her protectively. Duanya prepares to use her mind control on the new arrivals. Her eyes glow with power, ready to turn them into puppets. But Su Chen stops her. He has a much simpler way of dealing with hungry dogs. He offers them a feast of their own. Just like the others, their bloodlust turns into ravenous hunger, and they devour the food without a second thought. The leader laughs maniacally, his hunger momentarily satisfied. But now, he says, it's time for their punishment. Su Chen listens, completely unfazed. He reveals their cruel form of entertainment, a fight to the death against their two chained-up beasts. As the two mutated brothers are dragged forward, Su Chen recognizes them from his past life. They were once legendary figures, now reduced to this. The little girl watches from behind cover, terrified by the violence to come. Duanya quickly shields the child, not wanting her to see the slaughter that's about to unfold. The thugs grin, their eyes glowing with anticipation as they wait for the show to begin. Another survivor steps forward, aggressively challenging Su Chen's presence. But with a flick of his wrist, Su Chen effortlessly deflects the man's attack. The onlookers are stunned into silence as their strongest fighters are taken down in an instant. Steel Fang's shock quickly turns into a crazed grin. He's found someone interesting. Su Chen meets his gaze, his expression unchanging and utterly devoid of fear. The other thugs try to posture, but their menace has no effect on him. He tells them to stop wasting his time and bring out their real leader. On cue, a massive figure appears, casting a terrifying shadow over the terrified thugs. Beside him, the beautiful Duanya is visibly shaken, but Su Chen remains perfectly calm. The new arrival is so powerful that he's carried on a throne by his slaves. This is Boss Lu, the tyrant who rules this small pocket of survivors with an iron fist. Without a word, Su Chen moves, knocking the throne bearers off their feet in a blur. But Boss Lu casually throws a blade, pinning one of his own men to the ground. Duanya gasps at the casual cruelty, while Su Chen simply looks annoyed by the interruption. Boss Lu smiles, intrigued by the newcomer who dares to challenge him. He makes an offer. He'll trade the woman he's holding as a captive for Duanya. His underlings can barely contain their excitement, eager to see a fight break out. But Boss Lu quickly silences them, declaring that Bro is his prey alone. They immediately fall to their knees, begging forgiveness and promising to give him all their food. Duanya looks to Su Chen, her expression filled with worry. The thugs wait nervously, wondering how Su Chen will respond to their boss. But Su Chen doesn't bother with words. His answer comes as a wave of invisible pressure that sends pure terror through them. Steel Fang screams in agony as a crushing pressure slams down on him and his men. They're all hit by a sudden, intense pain that seems to come from nowhere. Even Boss Lu is affected, his arrogant expression replaced by one of confusion and alarm. It's all coming from Su Chen, who unleashes his power without so much as a change in expression. Ignoring the men writhing in pain, Boss Lu repeats his offer to trade for Duanya. Su Chen simply scoffs, telling him he isn't worthy. He then turns his back on the tyrant, walking away as if the confrontation is already over. Duanya follows him, a complicated mix of fear and curiosity on her face. Just then, another survivor appears, looking ragged and desperate. He approaches Su Chen, nervously trying to warn him about the dangers of defying Boss Lu. But the warning is cut short as the man finds himself face to face with the enraged tyrant. Boss Lu smiles sadistically, enjoying the man's terror. Nearby, Duanya tends to the sick and injured, including a small, silent child. Su Chen observes the grim infirmary, taking in the squalor these people are forced to live in. The man from before explains that only those who risk their lives scavenging for supplies get proper treatment. Su Chen's gaze drifts to a shadowy figure in the distance. A well-equipped scavenger returns, his face confident and proud. The desperate man rushes to introduce him to Su Chen, calling him by his name, Tian Yue. Tian Yue pulls off his goggles, his eyes widening in pure shock. He recognizes Su Chen and pulls him into a tight, emotional hug. Bro, however, seems less than thrilled by the sudden reunion. Tian Yue then notices Duanya, instantly recognizing her as the legendary beauty of their university. He's so starstruck that he can barely speak, leaving his friend to cover his ears from the awkward shouting. Bro pulls the blushing Duanya closer, a smirk playing on his lips as he asserts his claim. The sheer audacity of the gesture is too much for the two onlookers, who are left with simultaneous nosebleeds. Tian Yue thanks Su Chen for some food, but it's clear there's an unspoken tension between them. He pulls Su Chen aside, questioning why he's traveling with someone as sought after as Duanya. His tone shifts from friendly to serious, warning Su Chen that her beauty is a dangerous liability here. He reminds Su Chen of the harsh reality of their world. Weakness gets you killed, and sentiment is a luxury. Su Chen listens, his own memories of past struggles flashing in his mind. Tian Yue insists that if Su Chen can't protect her, he should abandon her for his own survival. But Su Chen just smirks, completely confident in his own power. Tian Yue, misinterpreting his silence for weakness, playfully smacks him on the head like he used to. Meanwhile, one of Boss Lu's enforcers, Lu Tao, closes in on Duanya with a knife. She presses the blade to her throat, whispering a threat meant only for her to hear. Lu Tao tells her that Su Chen has abandoned her, and now she belongs to Boss Lu. Duanya tries to fight back, her eyes glowing as she attempts to use her powers. But Lu Tao is unaffected, her own eyes glowing with a frenzied energy. Shoddy reveals that Boss Lu's men are immune to mental attacks for a short time. Her hand trembles, a sign that the immunity is already wearing off. Desperate, Shoddy focuses her energy into the knife, preparing for a final attack. She lunges forward, aiming to kill Duanya before her protection fades completely. But her attack is stopped dead in its tracks as an unseen force grabs her wrist. Lu Tao looks up in shock to see who interfered. Duanya flinches away, her eyes wide with a mix of terror and relief. Lu Tao finds herself facing a silhouetted figure, her own attack rendered useless. She turns her frenzied gaze on this new opponent, ready to strike again. Seeing the danger, Tian Yue screams for Su Chen to be careful. But as Lu Tao gets a clear look at her opponent, her frenzied rage evaporates, replaced by pure, abject terror. She's staring into the eyes of Su Chen, who has unleashed an overwhelming and terrifying power. A terrifying purple energy slams into her, and her mind is flooded with images of unspeakable horrors. In an instant, her sanity shatters, leaving only a primal fear of the being in front of her. She sees a vision of Bro as a demonic entity, effortlessly slaughtering his enemies. This isn't a man, it's a monster wearing human skin. Back in reality, Su Chen simply stands there, his power radiating off him in palpable waves. Tian Yue is blown off his feet by the sheer force of Bro's aura. Lu Tao collapses to the ground, her mind completely broken. She begs Su Chen for punishment, calling him master, and Su Chen looks down at her, showcasing his Sigma mode. The woman lunges, a blur of motion as she tries to run. A figure emerges from the shadows, effortlessly holding her by the neck. He asks if she really thought she could get away. He casually throws her aside, her body slamming hard into the ground. Tian Yue and his companion rush forward, stunned by what they just witnessed. The group is then ordered to move out, led away to an unknown destination. They arrive at a massive, empty arena. Su Chen stands alone in the center, a lone combatant facing a new trial. Watching from above, a large tattooed man laughs maniacally. This is the enforcer. He looks over his captives, two men bound and suspended in the air, bait for the show to come. Suddenly, a little girl cries out from below, her voice filled with rage and defiance. The enforcer simply grins and points, giving a silent command. From the shadows emerges a monstrous, red-eyed rat towering over the terrified girl. The beast lunges, its massive jaws opening wide to devour her whole. The rat sinks its teeth into its victim, a brutal and bloody end. The scene shifts to a memory of a harsh past, A young survivor asks if the mushrooms they found are poisonous. Without waiting for an answer, the larger man stuffs them into his mouth, his expression turning to one of horror. He collapses as the poison takes hold, his soul seemingly leaving his body, while his companions watch in terror. In another part of the ruined city, two other survivors, a young man and a burly veteran, stand together. They share a look of grim understanding, a silent pact to face whatever comes next. Back in the arena, the two captive men scream in terror as they're suddenly hoisted into the air. The enforcer watches with a sadistic grin, enjoying their fear. He calls them bait. Electricity courses through the ropes, shocking the two men who convulse in agony. The little girl screams for her brothers, her voice filled with desperation. She charges forward, riding on the back of a smaller rat, determined to save them. With a fierce cry, Shoddy throws a sharpened stick, which glows with a strange red energy. The spear finds its mark, piercing the giant monster's head and causing it to howl in pain. But her victory is short-lived. She cries out in despair as her attack fails to stop the beast. Enraged, the giant rat turns its attention back to her, lunging for the kill. Its claws tear through her cloak, a direct, brutal hit. The enforcer erupts in laughter, amused by the pathetic display of resistance. The monster looms over the fallen girl, ready to finish the job. Tears stream down her face as she accepts her fate, her wish to save her brothers unfulfilled. But just as the rat's claws descend, Su Chen appears. With a single casual slap, he deflects the attack. The force of the blow is so immense that the monster's entire head disintegrates on impact. Everyone watching is left speechless, their faces frozen in complete and utter disbelief. Even the arrogant enforcer is stunned into silence, his smile wiped clean from his face. Su Chen stands calmly, looking down at his hand as if nothing happened. He tells the girl he will grant her wish. The enforcer's shock turns to a nervous smile, realizing he has severely underestimated his opponent. Behind Su Chen, shadowy figures with glowing red eyes begin to materialize from thin air. Her wish granted, the girl, Xiao Mei, is reunited with her brothers. The two men, now safe, look on with expressions of pure relief and gratitude. The two sisters share a quiet moment, safe for now thanks to their mysterious savior. In an office above, the man in charge, Liu Heiyun, observes the unfolding events with cold, analytical interest. Down on the arena floor, Su Chen stands alone, surrounded by the dark spirits he has summoned, ready for the next challenge. Liu Heiyun continues to watch, intrigued by this unexpected variable in his experiment. He's not angry but fascinated. He sees Su Chen not as a threat but as a perfect test subject. On the ground, Su Chen easily dodges another creature's attack, dispatching it with a clean slice from his knife. Tianyue and his brother can only watch in stunned silence. This isn't the Su Chen they used to know. The enforcer's face falls. He realizes the man before him is a true monster. Su Chen simply states a fact. The creatures in the arena are nothing more than failed experiments. Suddenly, a voice booms over the loudspeaker, echoing throughout the university. Su Chen stands before the main building, a silent challenge to the man sitting on the throne at the top. It's Liu Heiyun. He offers Su Chen's companions a deal: betray him, and they'll receive a powerful drug. Hearing the offer, the enforcer grins, while Tianyue looks conflicted. Su Chen remains unfazed, as if he expected this betrayal all along. Tianyue's brother is horrified, but the woman in the bunny suit simply watches, her expression unreadable. She knows exactly how this will end. In this world, loyalty is cheap. And just as she predicts, Tianyue takes the deal, laughing as he accepts the power offered to him. He turns to face Su Chen, his old friend now his new enemy. Tianyue mocks him, claiming Su Chen knows nothing of the power he's about to wield. He explains that the drug enhances a person's strongest attribute, turning a once strong man into a weakling with a stick. Bro listens patiently, a flicker of pity in his eyes. He asks if Tianyue has any last words. The betrayal is complete. Tianyue has chosen power over friendship. The enforcer roars with excitement, eager to see the show. He tells Tianyue to crush Bro. With a manic cry, the enforcer leaps into the air, ready to attack. But Tianyue is faster. He intercepts the enforcer mid-air, kicking him square in the face. He stands over the fallen brute, his body now rippling with newfound power. The enforcer can only scream in rage and humiliation, taken out in a single decisive blow. His eyes glowing with power, Tianyue has dealt with the opening act. Now, he turns his attention to the main event. Bro. Su Chen watches his former friend, a hint of disappointment on his face. But his expression quickly hardens. He knew this was a possibility, and he is ready. Tian Yue boasts his past self a distant memory as he fully embraces his new power. He leaps into the air, bringing his foot down on the enforcer's head to propel himself forward. He strikes with blinding speed, landing a flurry of blows before the enforcer can even react. The brute can only smirk, confused by the weak attack. He calls Tian Yue's power pathetic. Tian Yue freezes, the confidence draining from his face. He doesn't understand why his attack had no effect. The enforcer's eyes glow red with rage. He tells Tian Yue he got played. He easily stops Tian Yue's next attack, catching the electrified maces with his bare hands. The enforcer reveals the truth. Liu Heiyun never intended to give Tian Yue real power. The drug was a dud. Tian Yue strains with all his might, but he's hopelessly outmatched. The enforcer shatters his weapon, the handle snapping under his immense strength. But before he can finish the job, a foot slams into his head. It's Su Chen. A massive, electrified fist crashes down, engulfing the enforcer in a torrent of purple energy. Liu Heiyun stands observing his work. Inside, his team is busy, completely focused on their mysterious experiments. His amusement turns into a twisted, evil grin. He's been waiting for this. Su Chen listens intently as Liu Heiyun's voice comes through his earpiece, explaining his grand, insane plan. The scientist makes his move, signaling an assassin to take out Su Chen from a distance. A tranquilizer dart flies through the air, aimed directly at Su Chen's neck. But at the last second, one of Liu Heiyun's own men, the enforcer, takes the hit instead. The drug instantly triggers a horrifying transformation, his body twisting and contorting. The other survivors in the lab scream in terror, caught in the middle of the chaos. The enforcer's body swells into a grotesque monster, covered in pulsating eyes. Liu Heiyun watches his creation with a smug look, confident that this will be enough to handle Su Chen. Unimpressed, Su Chen mocks him, calling him out for turning people into monsters. Liu Heiyun's expression darkens, his patience clearly wearing thin. Su Chen decides to fight back, gathering blue energy around his body. He pulls a strange object from his pocket, a power bank, crackling with unstable energy. He's turned it into a makeshift bomb. With a cold glare, Su Chen prepares to shove the bomb right where it will do the most damage. He thrusts his hand directly into the monster's mouth, planting the explosive. The power bank detonates in a massive internal explosion of sparks and energy. Su Chen stands calmly as the blast erupts behind him, completely unfazed. The onlookers, including a woman with pink hair, can only stare in absolute shock. Even Liu Heiyun seems surprised, a hint of concern finally appearing on his face. But the monster isn't down. It lets out a furious roar, its mutated body having absorbed the blast. Its body swells and spikes erupt from its skin as it prepares to charge. Bro doesn't hesitate. Leaping into the air for a direct attack, he brings his fist down with incredible force, slamming the monster into the ground. The creature is sent flying backwards, its massive body skidding across the floor. The bunny girl and her companion can only watch, catching their breath after the intense exchange. Liu Heiyun is stunned. He can't believe his ultimate creation is being overpowered so easily. The monster tries to counterattack, but Bro effortlessly dodges. This time, Su Chen reveals his true power, opening a spatial gate above the monster's head. Tons of concrete and steel rebar. The ruins of a building rain down from the portal. The survivors are speechless, witnessing a power they never knew existed. They realize Su Chen isn't just a fighter. He's on a completely different level. With the monster crushed beneath the rubble, Su Chen sits calmly on the wreckage. Liu Heiyun loses his composure entirely, slamming his fists down in a fit of rage. But Su Chen just looks on, completely unfazed by the scientist's tantrum. He cracks his knuckles, letting Liu Heiyun know that he's still got plenty of fight left in him. The survivors look back and forth between the two, unsure what will happen next. Suddenly, a horde of wolf-like creatures emerges from the shadows. The lab's other experiments have been released. Su Chen observes the new threat with a calm, almost bored expression. The bunny girl and her companions steel themselves for another fight, their faces tense with worry. She receives a telepathic message from Su Chen, his calm voice reassuring her that he has a plan. He gives a casual wave, signaling for them to stay out of the way. This is his fight. Understanding his command, the bunny girl and her group prepare to defend their position, trusting Su Chen to handle the main threat. The bunny girl's eyes begin to glow, focusing her own psychic powers to protect her friends from any stray attackers. She grits her teeth, concentrating all of her mental energy into a powerful defensive barrier. Meanwhile, Liu Heiyun calmly watches from his observation room, as if this was all part of his plan. One of his scientists panics, shouting at Liu Heiyun that the situation is out of control. Done with his failed experiments, Liu Heiyun removes his coat. It's time to use his trump card. He allows his team to hook him up to a machine, preparing his own body for a dangerous transformation. Meanwhile, Su Chen walks deeper into the lab, discovering rows of containment pods. Inside them float the twisted, horrifying results of Liu Heiyun's inhumane experiments. Su Chen looks on, his expression hardening at the sight of such cruelty. In the last pod, he finds a woman, Yun Yun, covered in bandages and suspended in the fluid. He remembers their past together, a memory that fuels the cold rage building inside him. With his decision made, Su Chen clenches his fist and prepares to break her out. He glares at the pod, a silent promise of retribution in his eyes. He smashes the glass and gently lifts Yun Yun out of the containment fluid. While holding her, he pulls a glowing crystal from her body, a device used to control her. Liu Heiyun appears, his body now transformed and crackling with power, infuriated that his prize has been stolen. Su Chen holds Yun Yun close, clutching the crystal that is the key to her freedom. Liu Heiyun's transformation is complete. He's become a monster, his ears pointed and his eyes glowing with rage. Yun Yun stirs, letting out a soft moan as she slowly regains consciousness in Su Chen's arms. She instinctively wraps her arms around him, holding on tight as the energy from the crystal flows into her. He's surprised by her embrace, but doesn't pull away. The sight sends Liu Heiyun into a jealous fury, his teeth grinding in anger. He lunges through the air, launching a savage attack at the two of them. Bro easily dodges, twisting out of the way while still protecting Yun Yun. Liu Heiyun smashes into the wall behind them, his attack missing completely. In that moment, Yun Yun pulls Bro close and kisses him. It's a desperate, passionate act, a transfer of unspoken feelings and trust. Her eyes flutter open, filled with gratitude. Shadi is awake now, and she has made her choice. Seeing them together pushes Liu Heiyun over the edge, his face contorting with pure hatred. He unleashes his full power, his body beginning to violently mutate. The transformation is complete. He has become a monstrous, skeletal beast, the Rat King. Su Chen holds Yun Yun, his own power flaring up to meet the new threat. He finds a safe place for Yun Yun, handing her a phone to restore her energy. Then he turns to face the Rat King, completely unintimidated by the monster's size and power. The beast attacks, but Su Chen blocks the massive claws with a single arm. Blood splatters, but Su Chen doesn't even flinch. His eyes are locked on his opponent. Meanwhile, Yun Yun begins to recover, the energy from the phone flowing into her. Su Chen glances back, confirming that his plan is working. Suddenly, Yun Yun is thrown into the air as a surge of power overloads her body. She stands, her body crackling with energy. The doomsday gene Liu Heiyun injected her with is finally activating. She leaps high into the air as her body begins to grow at an incredible rate. She crashes through the ceiling, her body expanding to a massive size, terrifying the survivors below. In seconds, she becomes a giantess, towering over the entire facility. Her giant foot comes down, effortlessly crushing one of the wolf-like monsters. This enrages the rest of the pack, and the army of mutated rats begins to swarm. But the sudden transformation is too much for Yun Yun. Confused and terrified, she begins to cry. Shadi rampages blindly, her giant feet stomping down as the other survivors run for their lives. Su Chen watches the chaos he's unleashed, his expression grim and calculating. He steps onto a ledge, observing the battlefield he has created. He focuses on the swarming rats below, preparing for his next move. The rats sense him and immediately swarm, climbing up his body. They completely engulf him, forming a grotesque, writhing armor of living creatures, their eyes glowing in the dark. But this isn't an attack, it's an absorption. A terrifying clawed hand bursts from the mass, crackling with dark purple energy. From the swarm, a massive shadowy beast emerges, Su Chen's own monster, to command. The Rat King stares, his arrogance replaced by shock as he faces a power that rivals his own. The shadow beast lets out a howl, and an entire army of shadow creatures materializes behind it. The survivors can't believe their eyes as two monster armies prepare to clash. The Rat King stands on the rooftop, looking down on the chaos he's created. He smirks, still confident that his own creations are superior. The bunny girl and her friends look up in terror, caught in the middle of a war between monsters. His army of ratmen stands ready, a seemingly endless horde waiting for his command. But standing against them is the giant Yun Yun, now a powerful force on the battlefield. The Rat King declares that she now belongs to him, a prize to be claimed. Enraged, Yun Yun prepares to fight back as the Rat King's minions swarm towards her. The other survivors are forced to fight for their lives as the battle rages around them. The rats overwhelm the giantess, crawling all over her and attacking relentlessly. The Rat King laughs, enjoying the sight of his army overpowering his new pet. But in that instant, a hand plunges directly into his chest. It's Su Chen. The Rat King looks down in disbelief as Su Chen's fingers close around his glowing crystal core. Moving faster than the eye can see, Su Chen had unleashed his true speed, tearing through the monster's defenses. The Rat King's face freezes in a silent scream of terror as his life force is ripped away. And just like that, it's over. Su Chen stands victorious, holding the crystal core of his defeated enemy. Rui screams in terror as the situation outside the lab spirals out of control. A large, brutish survivor tries to use a stone slab as a shield against the oncoming horde. But his defenses are useless as a shadow creature easily overpowers him. He's dragged down, his face frozen in a mask of pure fear. The shadowy beasts swarm him, their glowing eyes fixed on their prey. In moments, it's over. Another life is lost to the endless swarm. The remaining survivors can only watch in horror, completely powerless. A man named Lu Xiaofeng fights desperately, but he's quickly being overwhelmed. Exhausted and wounded, Rui struggles to catch his breath, realizing their group is doomed. Elsewhere, another survivor is swarmed by mutated rat men, a common fate in this new world. Duanya watches as a massive shadow beast materializes, its glowing eyes promising death. Wounded and out of options, Rui looks up to see a lone figure standing atop the laboratory. Suddenly, a terrifying purple aura erupts, confronting Duanya. The energy swirls and condenses, much to the shock of the onlookers. From within the shadows, a malicious grin appears, radiating immense power. The shadowy creature takes its final form, surrounded by its loyal pack of shadow wolves. Watching this display of power, Duanya is brought to tears, overcome with a mix of fear and awe. Arshadi can't hold back her emotions as the overwhelming presence washes over her. But the form begins to change. A human figure starts to emerge from within the monstrous shadow. A confident smile spreads across his face, his glowing red eyes showing complete control. Rui stares in absolute disbelief. This isn't a monster. It's a person. It's Su Chen. He has absorbed the crystal core, making its power his own. Now, the shadow beasts that once terrorized the survivors bow to their new master. Bro's corpse control ability takes hold, turning the mutated rat men against each other in a frenzy. The shadow beasts and the rats now belong to him. Bro stands as the sole commander of the battlefield. With their master revealed, the mutated creatures turn on each other, or flee in terror. The battlefield is cleared in an instant under Bro's absolute command. The surviving humans, led by Captain Bai, can only stare in stunned silence, unable to comprehend what they just witnessed. Rui is left speechless, his terror replaced by sheer confusion. Su Chen looks down on them, his expression as cold and indifferent as ever. He then grabs Rui, whose body begins to go limp. Su Chen reveals the man was already infected, his life force drained. There was never anything to save. Duanya looks on, realizing the harsh truth in Su Chen's pragmatic approach. Su Chen explains that in this world, only the valuable survive. He has no time for worthless sacrifices. He then summons a horrifying chained creature, the mutated specimen from the lab. Having secured the lab, Su Chen stands before a sealed door, ready to uncover its final secrets. As he touches the crystal core of a mutated corpse, he's pulled into a vivid memory. He finds himself inside a mental illusion, reliving the final moments of the person who was experimented on. The memory belongs to a woman named Duanya, who worked in the very same lab. She looks over her shoulder, a sense of unease creeping in. She's speaking to the lead scientist, Liu Heiyun, whose reflection appears on the glass. He asks her if she understands the nature of the creature they are studying. He points to a parasite, the Saculina, explaining how it turns its host into a living slave. With a sinister smile, he reveals his true intentions. He tells her that she is about to become his next test subject. Duanya is paralyzed with fear as he approaches from behind. In the memory, Liu Heiyun's demeanor changes, becoming monstrous and predatory. The illusion intensifies, showing the horrifying mental assault she endured. Su Chen watches the memory unfold, witnessing the horrific aftermath of the experiment. The scientist's mind, twisted by his own creation, turns on his assistant in a final, terrifying act. Within the illusion, Liu Heiyun attempts to strike a final blow. But it's just a memory, a ghost of the mad scientist's last moments. The real Liu Heiyun went insane from his own experiment, consumed by the very power he sought to control. He reveals that he infected his own guards, turning them into the shadow creatures outside. His ultimate goal was to achieve a twisted form of immortality. The woman in chains was his masterpiece, a being designed to grant him that power. Liu Heiyun's consciousness, trapped in the crystal, believes Su Chen is just another soul to be devoured. He sees Su Chen as nothing more than food for his creation. The professor laughs maniacally, thinking his victory is assured. But Su Chen's will is stronger. The illusion begins to crack and fade away. Su Chen breaks free, returning to the real world. He stands before the chained corpse, the source of the mental attack. He scoffs at the professor's failed attempt, declaring his own mental fortitude is far superior. The last remnants of the corpse's consciousness cry out in agony. Bro remains unfazed. He has weathered far worse in his past life. With his superior will, he overpowers the creature's mind completely. The corpse disintegrates into dust, its power now belonging to Bro. He holds the crystal core, now purified and ready for absorption. He now has two new abilities, mental perception and corpse control. His new perception ability allows him to see the heat signatures of all living things around him. The group of survivors he saved now includes Duan Ya and a young girl. They are all wary of Su Chen, whose power is both terrifying and alluring. Duan Ya in particular seems to be contemplating her new reality under his protection. Suddenly, the young girl is grabbed by an unseen force, and her body begins to contort. Duan Ya instinctively turns to Su Chen, questioning what's happening to the girl. Without a word, Bro's eyes glow red. He projects his thoughts directly into her mind, a cold display of his new power. Duan Ya understands his silent command. From now on, she follows his lead without question. With his new team of valuable assets assembled, Su Chen leads them through the abandoned city. He reflects on the powers he's gathered so far, from the Rat King, and now the lab specimen. He finds a crucial serum inside the lab, an antidote he'll need to protect his future resources. Using his spatial abilities, Su Chen easily teleports back to the group. He also recalls the minor ice ability he gained from the Rat King. Though small, he knows every power has its use in this world. Suddenly, one of the survivors hears something up ahead and alerts the others. Su Chen's eyes glow. His new mental perception is already detecting multiple heat signals. Another survivor points toward the commotion, his face pale with fear. They see a horrifying sight. A woman named Rui Rui has been captured and hung from a traffic light. It's a trap. One of the more idealistic girls in the group is horrified, determined to save her. Despite the obvious danger, she and her companion decide to rush in. They shout, trying to draw the attention of whatever set the trap. The girl's naivety is plain to see, a dangerous trait in this brutal world. Meanwhile, two other men are trying to topple the pole to get her down. The trap is sprung. Arrows fly from the rooftops. The two men are taken down instantly, their rescue attempt ending in failure. Then, monstrous figures known as devourers leap from the buildings, descending on the survivors. The group is ambushed, surrounded by the hulking, savage beasts. A devourer gets its hands on the idealistic girl, its intentions clear. She cries out, but there's no one left to help her. The devourer's eyes glow red as it prepares to finish her off. Her selfless act has only led to more death, a harsh lesson in this new world. Watching from a safe distance, Su Chen coldly remarks that her saintly attitude is what got everyone killed. His eyes glow with power. Su Chen understands that in this world, sentimentality is a weakness that he cannot afford. And with his new ability to control the dead, he has become the ultimate predator in this collapsed world. In a desolate past, the Devourer tribes feast, a brutal memory of the world that was. Their hunger is endless, a constant threat carving through the wastelands. Even the young are not spared, forced to watch the horrors of this new world from the shadows. But for one, the hunt is over. A flash of light signals its capture. The remaining devourers are stunned, unable to comprehend what just happened. A lone man appears, his presence commanding the street. He is the source of their fear. The monsters are suddenly swarmed by dark energy, confused and overwhelmed. Back in the present, our boy arrives at the gates of Hen City. With him are Duan Ya and a young bandaged girl, all looking for refuge. But they are met by the city's enforcer, a brutish man introduced as Captain Sunday. Duan Ya's eyes glow. A wave of mental energy washes over their opponent. Captain Sun clutches his head, gritting his teeth against the psychic assault. Enraged, he leaps forward, bringing his massive axe down on the group. Suddenly, a young man steps in, stopping the attack with his bare hand. He introduces himself as Zhang He, an old acquaintance of Su Chen. Captain Sun is not impressed, ready to fight both of them. That's when Su Chen steps forward, calmly telling them his group includes many doctors. The bluff works. Captain Sun freezes, realizing the value of what's being offered. Even Zhang He is shocked, his expression a mix of disbelief and hope. He pleads with the captain, arguing that they can't afford to turn away doctors. After a tense standoff, Captain Sun reluctantly turns and leads them into the city. As they walk through the settlement, Su Chen reassures Zhang He, dismissing the earlier conflict. But Zhang He quietly warns him that this safe zone is not what it seems. The city's leader is a corrupt tyrant. They soon discover another horror. A girl's body is being consumed by a mutated fungus, a sign of a new plague. The bandaged girl explains that this is the fate of those the city lord deems useless baggage. Duanya and Zhang He look on, concerned. They know this city is a powder keg waiting to explode. Su Chen explains that if they don't deal with these new threats, the mutated plants will eventually hunt humans. Duanya looks down at the small, bandaged girl, wondering if she will be safe here. Su Chen believes so. He thinks back to the city lord's dirty secret, a deal with the devourers, trading human lives for food. The weak and the old are used as cattle, fed to the monsters to keep the city safe for the strong. Just then, a jeep plows through the crowd, driven by the spoiled son of the city lord. He opens fire wildly, a crazed look on his face as he targets the refugees. Our boy watches, unimpressed by the pathetic display of power. The man who warned them earlier is terrified, but Bro remains perfectly calm. A survivor who recognizes the city lord's son is silenced with a single brutal punch. The city lord's son stops his jeep, sending people flying. He steps out, a smug grin on his face, and his eyes land on the bandaged girl. He approaches her with a lecherous smile, thinking he's found a new toy. Zhang He tries to intervene, but Bro holds him back. This is all part of the plan. The man stands between the girl's feet, his hands up, completely oblivious to the danger he's in. He thinks she's surrendering to his charm, but he couldn't be more wrong. Suddenly, the girl begins to grow, her body expanding at an incredible rate. She towers over him, a giantess, ready to deliver her judgment. Elsewhere, two officials get the report, completely stunned by the news. The city lord's son is paralyzed with fear, his arrogance gone in an instant. He points up at the giant girl, trying to command his men to shoot her down. But Duanya is already making her move, her eyes glowing with power. His men suddenly turn, their eyes glowing red as they fall under her control. The young master is furious, screaming at his men for their betrayal. He realizes he's trapped, and his screams for help echo through the street. But his cries attract the real power in the city, Captain Sun, who arrives with a menacing grin. The city guard mobilizes, surrounding the scene as the city lord's car pulls up. Su Chen and his group watch as the situation escalates, unfazed by the show of force. The city lord emerges, a man who carries himself with false dignity. His son pathetically begs for help, pointing a finger at Su Chen's group. But instead of help, he receives a brutal backhand from his own father. The city lord is furious, not at the newcomers, but at his son for causing a scene. He launches into a grand speech for the crowd, promising warmth and safety for all newcomers. He puts on a show, declaring that everyone will receive the best food and treatment under his protection. Zhang He can only watch in disgust, knowing it's all a lie. Later that night, the group settles in, gathered around a fire in the ruins. The bandaged girl thanks Duanya, her face flushed with gratitude for their protection. Duanya simply brushes it off, though a faint smile plays on her lips. Su Chen watches them, his expression unreadable as he formulates his next move. Meanwhile, a group of armed men moves through the darkness, their target clear. Su Chen senses their approach, a slight smirk touching his lips. He was expecting this. The thugs, led by a bald man, try to intimidate him with numbers and weapons. Without a word, Su Chen sends a surge of dark energy forward, blasting them back. His men open fire, but their bullets are useless against our boy's power. In an instant, he's among them. A whirlwind of motion that leaves them all on the ground. He knows the true enemies are still lurking in the shadows, watching and waiting. The men he spared can only laugh nervously, their bravado shattered by his overwhelming power. Su Chen then forces one of the men to lead them into the woods, where they witness the city lord's dark secret firsthand. One of the devourers catches a human trying to escape, its grip like iron. It opens its massive jaw and sinks its teeth into the man's head, crushing it instantly. With its meal finished, the monster stands tall, a terrifying silhouette against the red glow of the night. Duanya and the bandaged girl watch in horror, while their guide babbles in fear. He explains this is a weekly ritual, but Su Chen just smiles. He's found the perfect place to build his new empire. This city is now his. A man is used as bait, helplessly swinging between two buildings as monstrous creatures watch from below. One of the creatures lunges, throwing a punch straight at the terrified man's face. The blow connects with brutal force, sending a spray of blood from the man's nose. Suddenly, a massive, shadowy figure with a single glowing red eye appears, looming over the city. The shadow belongs to a giant woman, Yun Yun, who seems to be controlling the man like a puppet on a string. With a single hand, she effortlessly plucks one of the monsters from the street below. Elsewhere, the sniper Duan Ya takes aim, ready to prove her skill at Su Chen's command. Her bullet finds its mark, hitting one of the monsters with precision. Another shot fires, landing with explosive impact. While Yun Yun holds a furious monster in her grasp, Su Chen prepares to make his move. He casually steps forward, dropping the severed head of another creature to the ground. Our boy places a hand on a monster's head, his power glowing as he takes control of it. To reward his allies, Su Chen uses his spatial dimension to pull out a luxurious bed. He doesn't stop there, manifesting an entire feast of high-quality food. Duan Ya is left completely overwhelmed by the display of wealth and power. While she's flustered, Su Chen remains perfectly calm, his plan proceeding exactly as he intended. He watches, slightly confused by the strong reactions his simple gestures are causing. Another survivor, a young woman with short dark hair, is equally shocked by the sudden appearance of such luxury. The scene shifts to a refugee base, where the leaders are horrified to see one of their own hanging captive. Their secret ally, the powerful devourer leader, sits on his throne, watching events unfold. The base's leadership looks on in fear, realizing they've completely lost control of the situation. Then, Bro appears before them, flanked by one of the very monsters they used to fear. His eyes glow with purple energy, as he exerts his absolute authority. With an entire army of monsters now loyal only to him, he stands ready to pass judgment. Even the fearsome devourer leader roars at his command, a tool for the reckoning that is to come. The corrupt leader of the Hecheng base, Zhang Jianshu, watches as his plan unfolds. He stands before the survivors, inciting them with lies and twisted truths. He points a finger, accusing Bro's allies of being traitors who want to harm the base. His voice rises, filled with false righteousness as he calls for their deaths. Watching from the side, the Honorable General Gao Yiwei and his subordinates can only listen in silence. The crowd, easily swayed by fear, begins to turn against the accused men. Zhang Jianshu presses his advantage, his face contorted with fury as he demands justice. But then, a figure appears high above, on a ruined building, instantly capturing everyone's attention. The city lord looks up, his manipulative speech cut short by a wave of disbelief and fear. General Gao, however, remains calm, a slight smile playing on his lips as he watches the newcomer. It's Bro, and he's brought a guest, the defeated and bleeding leader of the Devourers. The sight silences the entire base. Both Zhang Jianshu and Gao Yiwei are stunned by this display of power. Under Bro's crushing mental pressure, the monster's eyes glow with terror. Forced by Bro, the Devourer leader confesses the truth to the entire crowd. The people scream in horror, realizing their own leader had been trading them to the monsters for food. Faced with the undeniable truth, General Gao turns to confront the man he once served. His face is a mask of cold fury as he delivers his judgment on the city lord's betrayal. But Zhang Jianshu, cornered and exposed, can only grin like a madman, his sanity completely shattered. The general's disgust is palpable, as he stares down the man who sacrificed his own people. Without another word, Gao Yiwei delivers a powerful punch, knocking the city lord to the ground. Bro watches from above, his plan to dismantle the base's leadership a complete success. Having made his choice, General Gao's eyes shine. With a newfound determination, Bro now addresses the crowd, extending an invitation for them to join him and build a new, better home. Su Chen's victory is absolute, but as the dust settles, a mysterious cloaked figure watches from the shadows, their purpose unknown. With their corrupt leader gone and a new path offered, the survivors look to General Gao, wondering what future he will choose for them. General Gao approaches Su Chen, ready to hear his proposal for the future. Watching from the crowd, Gao's subordinates, including the tough-as-nails Bai Kang, wonder what their leader will do. The disgraced city lord, Zhang Jianshu, suddenly erupts in a fit of deranged laughter. He reveals his trump card, his own crippled son, who was brought to the scene by Su Chen. He tries to twist the situation, painting himself as a victim and a loving father to the confused survivors. Thinking he's regained control, he spreads his arms, expecting the crowd to rally behind him. From his perch, Su Chen calmly watches the pathetic display, holding the devourer leader down with ease. The once mighty devourer can only grit its teeth in humiliation and fear. But the city lord's son is having none of it. Filled with rage, he points at our boy, screaming about revenge. Zhang Jianshu is stunned into silence by his son's unexpected and violent outburst. Meanwhile, our boy's other allies are cleaning up. Yun Yun effortlessly pins down one of the city lord's men. She then scolds Duanya, the sniper, for using her powers without thinking of the consequences. Through his earpiece, Su Chen hears everything, his expression never changing. Having seen enough, General Gao gives the order for his troops to assemble. His face is set like stone. He has made his decision and will follow Su Chen. He raises his hand, and his entire army stands ready to follow his command. The soldiers of the Kanggu and Baihu teams eagerly confirm they are ready to move out. The city lord can only watch as the armed soldiers rush past him, ignoring him completely. He realizes with dawning horror that he has truly lost everything: his power, his base, and his army. The army reports to their general, fully prepared to abandon the old base and follow their new leader. Zhang Jianshu lets out a final, pathetic scream of utter defeat. But his son has one last trick. Screaming, "I'll kill you," he pulls out a submachine gun and opens fire on Su Chen. Su Chen remains unfazed. A single bullet grazes his cheek as he calmly assesses the pathetic attack. He moves with impossible speed, weaving through the bullet storm as if it's standing still. In a flash, he closes the distance, his hand gripping the boy's shirt as his eyes glow with killing intent. He effortlessly lifts the city lord's son into the air, who can only scream in absolute terror. The city lord grits his teeth, watching helplessly as his son is used as a shield. With the immediate threat handled, Su Chen turns his attention back to General Gao and the survivors. But the city lord still has one more ally hiding in the shadows. An enemy sniper has Su Chen in his sights, ready to fire the killing shot. He takes aim, waiting for the perfect moment to pull the trigger. But Bro is already one step ahead, giving a quiet command through his earpiece. On another rooftop, Duanya and Yun Yun are already prepared to counter the threat. Before the enemy sniper can even react, a single, precise shot takes him out instantly. The city lord gasps in shock as he watches his final hope get eliminated so easily. With all threats neutralized, our boy casually drops the boy to the ground. His eyes glow with power. It's time to end this. He grabs the city lord, using his own son as a human shield against any last-ditch efforts. Then, in a final act of cruelty, he forces a live grenade into the terrified boy's mouth. As the base's old leaders are dealt with, one of their men transforms, roaring with chemically induced rage. But it's too late. Su Chen now stands victorious, his powerful allies by his side, ready to claim the entire base as his own. A team arrives at a supermarket, announced as the location for a supply run organized by our boy. As Lu Xiaofeng and his men move in, weapons ready, they brace for an ambush. But instead of a fight, they find a gruesome scene. All the monsters have already been taken out. Not only that, a truck fully loaded with supplies is waiting for them, completely unguarded. The men are confused, but their leader, a brutish enforcer, isn't questioning their luck. He decides to take all the credit for this miracle, planning to report it as his own victory. Meanwhile, from a high vantage point, two women watch the events unfold. Duanya, with her distinctive pink hair, calmly observes the scene below. Arshadi watches the truck drive off, her expression unreadable. Down on the street, the enforcer boasts to his crew about their good fortune. His eyes gleam with greed, thinking only of the reward he'll receive. Suddenly, a man runs up, interrupting their celebration with urgent news. The enforcer's smug expression reveals he isn't concerned in the slightest. Elsewhere, Su Chen stands with his own small team, preparing for the next phase of his plan. He addresses his companions, his gaze confident and unwavering. With a wave of his hand, Su Chen uses his spatial ability. A yellow, armored vehicle materializes out of thin air before his stunned allies. Without a word, Su Chen gets into the driver's seat, ready to move out. The vehicle speeds off, leaving the ruined city streets behind them. The scene shifts to a dark, cavernous area where people are being held captive near a large body of water. A cruel-looking man named Mr. Napoleon screams at his prisoners, declaring he'll use them as bait for the monsters in the water. His men begin throwing the helpless survivors into the churning water below, where shadowy creatures wait. Mr. Napoleon watches the carnage with a sadistic grin, enjoying their terror. The remaining captives look on, their faces etched with despair as they await their turn. But from a hidden position, our boy observes the horrific scene, calculating his next move. To avoid Napoleon's forces, our boy and his team decide to take an underwater route. They dive into the murky depths, swimming towards their destination. But Bai Kang begins to struggle, her oxygen running low. She panics as she realizes they're not alone in the darkness. Gasping for air that isn't there, she starts to lose consciousness. Su Chen quickly moves to her side, grabbing her hand to calm her down. Without hesitation, he pulls her close and gives her mouth to mouth, sharing his own air. Bai Kang's eyes widen in shock at the sudden, intimate gesture. As this happens, the underwater ghouls begin to swarm around them. Su Chen holds her tightly, shielding her from the approaching horde. Bai Kang, now able to breathe, clings to him, her expression a mix of shock and desperation. The ghouls are everywhere, their grotesque faces illuminated by the faint light. A red glint appears in our boy's eye as he activates his power. The ghouls' eyes glow red in response, and they begin to surround the pair. But they don't attack. Instead, they part, creating a clear path for Su Chen and Bai Kang. One of the creatures lunges forward, breaking from our boy's control, but our boy effortlessly stops it with one hand, crushing its head. The group continues to swim through the now pacified horde of monsters. They finally break the surface, gasping for air inside a dark tunnel. As they catch their breath, they see that the path ahead is littered with more of the creatures' bodies. Su Chen emerges from the water, completely unscathed and composed. His companions can only stare in disbelief, exhausted from the ordeal. Suddenly, a small, shadowy cat with glowing eyes appears, drawn by the crystal in Su Chen's hand. In a flash, the creature darts forward and snatches the crystal right from his palm. With the crystal now embedded in its forehead, the cat begins to glow with a strange new power. Bai Kang questions what the creature is, but Su Chen isn't focused on that. The mutated cat simply sits, calmly observing the humans. With a sly grin, our boy pulls out his secret weapon, a pack of super fish snacks. The cat can't resist. It leaps onto his shoulder, happily accepting the offering. With his new ally secured, our boy proceeds with his plan. He finds the main breaker and throws the switch, restoring power to the facility. The lights flicker on, revealing they've successfully infiltrated a hidden base. They proceed deeper inside, the corridor opening up into a massive chamber. They've hit the jackpot, a fully stocked military armory. Lu Xiaofeng celebrates their find, but Bai Kang is uneasy. High above, the cat hisses, sensing an unseen threat. Bai Kang instinctively grabs a rifle, preparing for whatever is coming. Suddenly, the ground starts to shake violently, catching them all by surprise. A tank crashes through the wall, with Lu Xiaofeng at the helm. But he's not attacking them. He's screaming in terror, fleeing from a monstrous beast with a cannon fused to its head. The cannon monster fires a massive energy blast, striking the tank directly. The explosion sends the armored vehicle flying through the air. As the chaos erupts, our boy activates his ability, lifting himself and Bai Kang into the air as the floor beneath them dissolves. Bai Kang is stunned, witnessing the true, reality-bending scale of his power for the first time. Even the cat watches in awe, realizing our boy is far more than just a provider of snacks. Below, Lu Xiaofeng panics as the tank begins to fall, but our boy simply watches, completely unfazed. In one swift motion, our boy grabs Bai Kang. He lifts her into his arms, telling Lu Xiaofeng he must ensure her safety above all else. The cannon monster takes aim again, charging up another devastating blast. Just as it fires, Su Chen leaps away with Bai Kang, narrowly escaping the explosion. He lands safely, still holding Bai Kang, who is shocked by the close call. Putting her down, Su Chen turns his attention back to the battlefield, leaving her to process the destruction. Now, he stands alone, facing the colossal cannon monster head-on. But even against such an overwhelming foe, our boy's expression remains eerily calm. Meanwhile, outside the armory, Mr. Napoleon and his crew finally arrive. They find the entrance sealed, the heavy doors shut tight. But as they approach, they realize they're not alone. The men who were used as bait are now cowering in fear. A new monster appears from the woods, a giant, terrifying rabbit with glowing red eyes. Mr. Napoleon, who was so arrogant moments before, is now frozen with terror. The rabbit monster's eyes flare as it unleashes a psychic assault. The thugs are hit by the invisible force, screaming as their minds are attacked. Back inside, our boy's fight begins. He launches himself at the cannon monster. His punch connects with tremendous force, shattering a part of the creature's body. The monster roars and retaliates, firing its cannon at point-blank range. Our boy throws up an energy shield, deflecting the massive blast. He stands his ground, preparing for the monster's next move. The beast swings its massive arm down, intending to crush him. But our boy is too quick, leaping onto its arm and running towards its head. He cocks back his fist, ready to deliver a decisive blow. However, the monster reacts instantly, ensnaring him in its tentacles. Trapped and helpless, our boy can only watch as the cannon charges up right in his face. But just as the monster is about to fire, our boy activates his spatial ability again. He glances over to the shadows, giving a silent command to his newest ally. A small shadow emerges from the debris. It's the cat, and its body is now radiating a powerful golden aura. The same energy envelops Su Chen, linking their power as the small creature begins its transformation. Amidst the chaos, the tank Lu Xiaofeng was driving is buried under a pile of rubble. Bai Kang watches from the sidelines, completely overwhelmed by the scale of the battle. She's worried for her allies, but there's nothing she can do against such powerful creatures. Just then, she spots figures emerging from the darkness of the entrance tunnel. It's Mr. Napoleon and his crew, their faces hidden in shadow, exuding a menacing aura. Bai Kang's heart sinks as she realizes they're now trapped between the monster and Napoleon's hostile group. But something is wrong. Napoleon's face has contorted into a demonic, skull-like mask. His men have also transformed, their eyes glowing red with malevolence. At that moment, the cat's transformation completes. It's now a colossal, flaming beast, standing protectively before Su Chen. The newly evolved creature lets out a ferocious roar, ready to challenge the cannon monster. Su Chen watches with a cold, satisfied expression. His risky gamble paid off. With his new powerhouse ally holding the line, he calmly walks past, his eyes set on the real prize. His eyes glow red as he gives his final command. The beast will keep the monster busy while he claims their reward. Without another word, he leaps onto the giant cat's back, using it as a mount. Now perched high above the battlefield, our boy looks down on the entire armory, not as a raider, but as its new owner. He's not here to take some supplies, he's here to take everything. Our boy and his demonic cat Gold charge into battle against a grotesque monster. The creature looms over him, its twisted form a mess of vines and flesh. But Su Chen remains unfazed, calmly riding his companion as a laser blast narrowly misses them. They gracefully evade the attack, the energy beam crashing into the ground behind them. From the explosion, a torrent of water erupts, changing the terrain of the fight in an instant. Seeing an opening, our boy leaps into the air, aiming for the monster's weak spots. He lands a devastating punch, striking the glowing purple orbs with immense force. He flips back, landing perfectly as the monster reels from the impact. Gold watches the display of power, a single drop of sweat rolling down its face. Our boy coolly tells the creature that it's over now. In a last-ditch effort, the monster unleashes another powerful beam of energy. But it's too late. The creature disintegrates, leaving behind a single glowing crystal. In the darkness, a sinister, glowing smile appears. Our boy catches the crystal, unfazed by the glowing eyes watching him. Without hesitation, he consumes the crystal, shocking Gold with his bold move. A powerful surge of water explodes outwards from the crystal's energy. Su Chen stands calmly in the middle of the newly formed pool of water, but Gold isn't as composed, and it begins to panic and splash around in the water. A hand reaches down and plucks the struggling cat from the water by the scruff of its neck. Amused, Su Chen watches as Gold begins to vibrate and multiply uncontrollably. The cat cries out as it splits into smaller versions of itself, clawing at our boy's clothes. Our boy holds up the original cat, now soaked and looking utterly defeated with tears in its eyes. Meanwhile, in another part of the ruined city, a silver-haired woman runs for her life. Our Shadi looks back in horror at the fresh wreckage of the military vehicle, realizing she's not alone. And there it is. A creature with glowing red bunny ears steps out of the darkness, the clear cause of the destruction. The bunny-eared creature reveals its horrifying army of zombie-like minions. The silver-haired woman stands alone, facing down the massive beast as its tendrils lash out. Watching from a distance, a young man named Lu Xiaofeng screams in terror. The monster's vines wrap around her, tearing her clothes as it prepares to devour her. But she's not done yet, landing a powerful kick on one of the smaller creatures. Lu Xiaofeng can only watch in horror, completely powerless to help. Suddenly, the monster is rocked by a massive explosion from an unseen attacker. A heavy machine gun opens fire, tearing into the creature's body. The silver-haired woman stares in disbelief at the sudden turn of events. Inside an armored vehicle, Lu Xiaofeng collapses with relief. He breathes a sigh of relief, just as a glowing green crystal falls from the ceiling. He looks up in confusion as the crystal core falls directly into his open mouth. In an instant, his eyes begin to glow with an intense, otherworldly power. He stumbles out into the water, overwhelmed by the energy coursing through him. Just then, Su Chen arrives, calmly observing the scene with gold peeking out of his shirt. He grabs Lu Xiaofang, steadying him as the young man groans in pain. The silver-haired woman watches Su Chen's unexpected arrival with a mix of suspicion and curiosity. The scene shifts, revealing another woman bound and suspended from a street lamp. A monstrous, beast-like man with sharp fangs closes in on her. She cries in terror as he and his shadowy companion loom over her. The creature smiles, its red eyes glowing with predatory hunger. But their hunt is interrupted by the headlights of an approaching vehicle. Back with Su Chen's group, a normal cat has appeared, playfully pawing at a toy. Our boy dangles a cat toy. A rare moment of calm before the next storm. Nearby, Lu Xiaofeng finishes his transformation, standing tall as his body radiates with newfound power. 3 beast-like creatures charge at the newly empowered Lu Xiaofeng, vowing to end him. They land a flurry of blows, but something is wrong. Their attacks seem to have no effect. The silver-haired woman watches in shock, but our boy remains perfectly calm, not even bothering to look. The monster realizes that instead of taking damage, Lu Xiaofeng is absorbing the energy from their punches. He stands there, his body surrounded by a swirling green aura, channeling their power into his own. With a defiant roar, he unleashes the stolen energy in a massive burst. The beasts are thrown back, their bodies starting to dissolve from the sheer force of the blast. Our boy watches with a cold gaze. This was his plan all along. The remaining beasts are suddenly sliced to pieces by an invisible force. Lu Xiaofeng grits his teeth, overflowing with a power he can't yet control. Suddenly, a new threat emerges from the shadows. A hulking man named Captain Sun arrives with his gang, wielding a massive, glowing battle axe. He smirks, demanding repayment for guarding the warehouse for them. Our boy calmly places a hand on Lu Xiaofeng's shoulder, a silent order to stand down. He walks over to his armored truck and pulls out a large, unmarked cardboard box. As payment, he offers Captain Sun a box of dog food, the ultimate insult in a world starved for resources. Without another word, our boy gets in his truck and drives away, leaving Captain Sun screaming in rage. Captain Sun and his second-in-command watch them leave, humiliated and vowing revenge. The captain's eyes burn with hatred, but for now, there's nothing he can do. Inside the truck, Lu Xiaofeng questions Su Chen's reckless decision to provoke such a powerful enemy. Su Chen simply looks at an image of the axe, revealing he's already planning to steal the weapon for himself. He drives on, his eyes already fixed on his next target. The scene shifts to a completely different location, where a giant woman kneels in the street. Shadi seems confused as a man with a club tries to get her attention. Oblivious to her own scale, she looks away, lost in this strange new world. Su Chen's Hummer speeds through the deserted streets, heading for their newly established base. As they arrive, Gold leaps from the vehicle, eager to explore its new home. The silver-haired woman asks Su Chen if he trusts them not to run away. He doesn't even bother to answer. The base leader looks on in shock, having just heard about their confrontation with Captain Sunday. He stands before the massive stockpile of supplies that Su Chen's group has secured. He can't believe they managed to gather so many resources on their own. He admits that without them, he would have never been able to establish this new base. The silver-haired woman is taken aback by his praise and gratitude. The leader then turns to Su Chen, proposing they name their new home Dawnlight Base. Su Chen looks back, his cold expression giving nothing away. The scene shifts to the base's medical wing, where a doctor holds a strange, pulsating organism. This is Duanya, the lead doctor of the base, and Shadi's not easily impressed. The sight of the medical equipment triggers a traumatic memory for Gold, who was once experimented on. But Duanya simply smiles, petting the creature gently and deciding to name him Gold. She carries Gold through the hallway, commenting on the supplies our boy provided. As she enters her room, she prepares to relax for the evening. Suddenly, our boy appears from the shadows behind her, causing her to cry out in shock. He pins her against the wall, and she lets out a flustered gasp. Gold, however, seems to be enjoying the show. With his face close to hers, our boy reveals his terrifying ability to appear anywhere without a sound. He smirks, enjoying her reaction just a little too much. Later, Duanya is relaxing in a glowing blue bath, with Gold floating happily beside her. Our Shadi washes the little cat, who seems to have completely forgotten its earlier trauma. Su Chen appears again, this time offering her a glowing pink crystal core. Gold looks at the crystal, remembering its own transformation after eating a similar core. To demonstrate its effects, Su Chen unleashes his own energy, his body glowing with red cracks as the water around them bubbles. Suddenly, a giant woman with dark hair peeks into the room, her massive eye filling the doorway. The woman shrinks down to a normal size, revealing the same pigtails from before, looking embarrassed. Inside the room, our boy's transformation completes, his body now a silhouette of dark energy and glowing red lines. No woman is safe from our boy. Like the video if you don't want to be his next victim.